It's not the hat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Isyour6 Covered. Appreciate you showing up. We got a special guest. We got John Kreideman with us today. Super excited. Been a great day and got to do a little bit of shooting. Welcome everyone to the show.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. The VUDOOS have landed. You can see that in the comments section or the top title. And so John, you got your voodoo. What do you think so far?
Oh, we're going to win the next tournament with it, right?
That's right. You can buy your way to first place, we keep hearing, but sure,
I keep hearing it.
Sure hasn't worked for me.
Bedtime stories.
Welcome, everyone. Let's see who came in first place. We got Steve Healy, Skull in second, the other Tim Davison third, Rifle Mania. Carrie Emery.
Yeah.
That's right. Rifle Mania says opposite of down. Lance Hawley, Stratos 27, and Snake Man 48 so far out there. So we'll get some time for everybody to show up. If you have not, please do hit the thumbs up button. We do appreciate it. And it makes for we'll get some extra people in here. Maybe someone will learn something tonight. Hopefully, we got some good topics for tonight. Not too many, but a few that I think you guys will be interested in. Hopefully, you'll enjoy. And does this shirt make me look fat?
It's not the shirt. What's
All
up,
right.
Nancy Mick? She Balsicki, thanks for the stickers.
Yeah.
They're awesome. I have them on both sides of the rifle.
Right
I haven't put mine on yet.
And I
he
even ran
hasn't
them in
given
the
me
match.
one yet.
Huh?
I ran them in last week's match.
Yeah, you did. Maybe that's what powered you up.
Proud of it.
So
That's it.
I'm actually been switching. What up, Silver Fox? She Balsecki. We got Chris out there. Welcome, Chris. We got Mark. See, do you guys plan on going to the NRL 22 national match?
I think you have to be invited to that. I'm not sure, but
I think I'm going to start getting some points. I don't know if there's enough time yet, but I might sign up.
it's going to be tough. I don't think you're going to be able to get any NRL 22 points
well,
because of the way the season runs.
Darn.
There's no matches that we're going to be attending.
maybe we'll just go west. West.
Okay, so real quick, I just wanted to do this intro. I've had John on the show, but you guys are, on my videos. The very first video you were in with me was when you got a Tika.
6'5", yep.
And so I met John about 7 years ago through work and nothing crazy. You were big into hunting. You're still a big hunter.
I am.
And so we started talking about
It's calling
shooting
me fat.
long range stuff and everything. And you decided you wanted to get into long range shooting.
Yes, I did.
So now you got like 1,000 rounds on that Tika T3X.
Yeah, he did that in like a
And
week.
then all of a sudden you decided you wanted to go to 22. What's the reasoning behind it? What's fueling all of this?
Well, the 22, first off, if you can shoot a target, 8-inch target, 10-inch target at 400 yards with a 22, it's cheaper. It's nicer. I mean, we don't have to, you have earbuds in or earplugs in.
Yeah.
You can just sit around and shoot the breeze. It's nice. And again, it's more training for the heavier guns.
So let me ask you. I asked you a question this afternoon. When you went to Kentucky with us last weekend, how many mils were you holding at 200 yards of wind?
2 at 200.
Yeah, it was somewhere between 1.5 mils to 2 mils of windage at 200 yards. And then I asked you, I said, at 700 yards, what's the most wind you've ever held?
A 0.5 mil.
There you go. This 22 long rifle shooting that we're doing is much harder, in my opinion, and more challenging than than center fire. I think that's what's driving us.
I gotta say a huge thank you. You guys see Assurance Arms out there. He actually opened the gun store today that wasn't open.
The man, thank you. And waited for me for half an hour.
Yeah, so that we could pick up 2 Voodoos. So a huge shout out to Scott. Appreciate it.
Richard Elby says, quick hello to you hillbillies. What's up? I am a hillbilly.
Redneck.
Yeah. No, big shout out to Scott over at Assurance. He has a gun shop in Mills River, North Carolina. And I guess that's where you decided to send the rifles. And he was actually closed today.
He was, and we got super lucky.
Yeah, good guys. Authorized Microtech dealer.
Pull strings.
Worst part was we had the day off. And when you have the day off, we were shooting. We were actually in the middle of shooting. He got a text. Ray got a text. Says, I'm headed that direction. We were like,
all right, see you there.
But yeah, we left everything. Rifles sitting in
we
the
didn't
back.
even take them out of the Ranger.
No,
they were in the back. It was like, they'll be good. Let's just go.
Yeah, the deer. A bunch of deer could have been running around with some rifles earlier today. So
exactly.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate that, Scott. Very much so. So if you guys get a chance, you live local, go to Assurance Arms. And he's got ammo, in case you guys know. Thursday he opens, so that's tomorrow. If you need 9mm,
223. He's got
223. He's got thousands of rounds.
Thousands of rounds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do I get to buy more than one box?
He had to mortgage his
I
house.
have to pull some strings for that.
That's right.
It's all right.
You might have to know somebody.
I do. I know somebody.
Richard, welcome, Richard. So we got Daniel Joaquin. We got Daniel out there. Joaquin's out there. 45 auto. Jack Nava.
Thanks, dude.
Anytime, he says. All right, well, let's order another rifle. Let's see. My Voodoo is 2 days young and is quickly becoming my favorite. Hammering 1/2-inch targets at 200 today. Nice. Very nice.
That's good.
That's really good shooting. Either Ray has something tucked into his hat or his hair has gone white.
No, sideburns are solid white. I'm overlit.
I'm just glad I still have my hair. Shit.
Yeah.
You know what they say? You can turn any color but loose, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I felt left out. Don't have a long range 22. Well, bald and curious. Get yourself one. Head on over to Altus and order yourself one. When you called last time, what were they saying the weights were for those? Do you remember?
I missed out on this one that you guys got in on, and that was my own fault because I wasn't sure which direction I was going. They told me it was going to be, I think, in May. Either the end of April or May.
That sounds right. That sounds right. B. Molly out there placed a Voodoo order back in December 9th. And is now very close to estimated 14 weeks lead time.
Guys, let me go ahead and get on record and say this. If you buy one, and I'm a huge Bartlein guy, get it with the Ace barrel. There is no comparison. We have, and this is not from shooting one rifle against another. This is shooting one rifle against 5 different Voodoos.
5 Voodoos, yeah.
With the factory Ace barrel. Doesn't matter if you go with the MTU contour or the Kukri contour, they shoot tighter groups. Tyler Orth actually commented on a video that I put out and said that he noticed the exact same thing. He had a Voodoo V22 with the Bartlein and noticed that the groups were not as tight as others with the Ace barrel.
And I just picked up the 20-inch compared to the 18-inch. Hell, I don't even think it's an inch difference, honestly.
Yeah. And so that kind of goes back to what I was saying. You're not going to, with that extra 2 inches, if you think 20 inches is going to make a huge difference over 18, you are fooling yourself. The velocity and all the dopes are going to be virtually the same, and you're not going to balance out your rifle with an extra 1.5 inches of barrel. It's just not going to happen. We've seen it. We've looked at it. You almost can't even tell them apart.
You can't.
Surprisingly,
yeah.
I looked at mine. I thought, what's the difference?
Yeah, we did go with the heavier contour barrel, the MTU, compared to the Kukri. Well, I ordered him the heavy barrel because that's the way we were kind of going, but really not much difference.
Yeah, the heavier contour will help you to get it a little more balanced, depending on the chassis that you're running. And then also, if you watch the video that I put out today, we did that in just a couple minutes. I think that was a one-shot video as far as the take, because I did have a lot of questions about exactly what I'm running. You can get a perfectly balanced rifle, but there's going to be stages where you're going to take your bipod off or put one on, and that's going to change the balance all over. You're never going to get it perfect. You can only get it as close as you can.
Riflemania asks a question here. He says, you guys have any experience with difficult bolt closing on certain ammo brands? I'm trying to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Targets. Absolutely. My Anschutz are extremely finicky about that. It seems to be it's more of a tighter chamber than anything on, I guess, how well they make the ammunition. But I noticed on some of the Elite 10X, I have a very difficult time closing the bolt on my Anschutz rifles.
That's 1.5 pounds of wax that was on the ones we had.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Seriously. It's crazy.
It was thick. We got Hunt's BD out there. Welcome. Ordered a 20-inch MTU from Altus last week, mid-April ship date. Yeah, so
Ball and Curious says, I'll just buy Ray's once he changes hobby again. Squirrel. The thing is, Val, I know where you're coming from with that. But what I try to do is when I try to learn a different shooting discipline, I don't sell my stuff off. I keep it. But I like to learn all the different disciplines. I don't want to be that one guy that only knows how to do USPSA and nothing else. You yourself, Val, I mean, you got into long range shooting, but then you got out of it and you're back into the pistol stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to be good at just one thing. I'd like to know all the different disciplines. So that's my driving force.
I don't
Which
know.
will lead
I
us
thoroughly.
into tonight's topic.
It will. It will definitely lead us into tonight's topic. Let's see. We got there's a couple good questions and comments out here. We got there's one I just saw that said the Altus.
Yeah, mid-April ship date. There you go. 20-inch MTU, Hunts PD. Thanks.
I can barely see that.
Joaquin, I have not gotten the
this.
Bergara yet. I'm waiting on it. They said they were a little back ordered on those, but I will be getting one of those.
Daniel says just ordered today. What did Daniel just order today? Daniel, don't be tricking me.
9mm hollow points.
Oh,
God, I just picked up $80.
Oh, I know. That's what I meant to give you at the house. Got out. Got away too soon.
Let's see. She would complain about that.
I said, "What? You crazy?" I said, "Okay." I said, "I'll buy it."
What else?
The Ace barrels are now back ordered.
Yeah, that's the actual comment I was looking for. Man, see, once there's a good thing. Yeah.
Right, you dirty dog.
I got an 18-inch for sale for $2 billion. Who wants it?
You'll get first place.
That's right.
Assurance Arm says Tar Heel basketball is on. Way more important than us losers. That's all right. We appreciate it.
Who was that?
Assurance Arms.
Ricky should run the 18 and the 20 over the Magneto and see which shows better SD and ES or extreme spread. Curious if your results are similar to my own. We'll try it out. You know what? As far as today, we did some shooting today in between the 20-inch and the 18. The dope, at least out to 105 yards, is still exactly the same.
Right on.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see a difference till you get further out there, but even so, it's not going to be much.
Maybe a tenth. I did try. So I did purchase the H59 reticle a few months back. Well, about half a year now. And put it on, swapped it, put it on the 20-inch. Wasn't a big fan. I always thought I liked the dot, but I'm kind of a fan. I don't know if it's just from shooting the old EVR 2C reticle, but man, I want to go back.
I got my Vortex. First time I've ever noticed a center dot in my crosshair. It's because I actually figured out how to run my eye. I am so new at this. I'm still figuring this out. It's kind of embarrassing. I'm thinking, oh my God.
No, but you put in the time. You put in the time,
but not with that scope.
I mean, it's true.
You know, aim it at the sky.
Yep.
Dial it. All the difference in the world.
Yeah, 45 auto spin. He bought his allowance on the Area 41930 MOA scope base, so that's cool.
Nice. It's a good one.
Showed up on Monday. All right. Tyler Worth. Let's see.
All right, so we'll go ahead and lead into a little bit of tonight's topic. You know, I put that video out this afternoon when I was shooting with Rick. We had no intention of being able to get the VUDOOS today and John's and Rick's new one until Scott called us. And so I put that video out because I do get a lot of questions or emails about the setup that I run and why I run it and, you know, all the different features of it.
We get a lot of those.
But then there were also a lot of comments on the video regarding, oh, well, this is why the competition has turned into what it is because, you know, it's guys spending $10,000 on a rifle and blah, 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 blah. And my response to it was simple. There's a different division for that. Okay. You can absolutely go out, have a good time, still be competitive with a Savage or a Ruger RPR or a Tikka T1X, as long as you don't pair that up with another scope that's going to put you above that price point. Now, that price point, that's your responsibility to know because it depends on what you're shooting. If you're shooting NRL 22 or PRS rimfire, there are different numerical values. Now, this is based off of
Ramsey Country. Thanks, Ramsey.
Okay, but I'm curious, Ray, here's a challenge for you with your 22 with Walmart scope at 300 yards. Okay, so it's definitely doable, Val, no doubt about it. But just to put it in perspective, you can take Rick's Diamondback Tactical, which cost you $300. You got it on sale. It was like $305 or something.
Yep.
And he can absolutely hit the 300-yard target without any issues. That's his production rifle gun. He's got his RPR, which the MSRP on that full MSRP is what they go by.
Yeah, it's like $4 something.
Okay, let's say it's $500. Okay, you can't change the chassis, you cannot change the barrel, you can't change the trigger. He lightened up the trigger, so you got $500 in that. He's got $300 in the optic. which he can't count for $300 because you have to go off MSRP, which MSRP is $399. So even if it was $500, you're at $1,000. Yeah. That's still under what the $1,500 price point is for PRS. I think NRL might have a $1,200 price point. There's one of them that's a lot lower. But the point of this is there are different divisions. And so, no, you shouldn't. Could you? Yeah, absolutely. You could compete against the guys in open division. But, guys, this is why there are different divisions. My analogy to this is you don't show up to your local drag strip on a Friday night and run your stock Mustang, 5.0 and think you're going to beat the guy that's got his top fuel dragster out there. Okay, exactly. You have all these different divisions. You're going to see the same thing in pistol, for USPSA, for carry optics, for production, for open. You have to think about it that way. So the ones that are arguing about the money point, that's a moot point because you're not competing in that division. My thing is go out with what you have. I think the very first ones we bought were the Ruger RPRs.
Yes.
We had somewhat inexpensive scopes.
Oh, for sure.
Because that was a different game. We just did it to have fun, and it morphed into this, which turns out it's harder than centerfire, in my opinion. A lot harder.
It was, and more enjoyable, I think.
I agree.
I mean,
it's more of a challenge.
I like it a lot because every time we go, I'm probably shooting 250 rounds. That would be a whole nother day and a half of me reloading.
A burned out barrel on a 6 Creedmoor.
Exactly.
Oh, I've been through my barrel already.
Yeah.
I mean, how many rounds?
NRL's 1050.
It's
crazy. I knew one of them was a lot lower. One of them was right at $1,000, and that's the NRL 22.
Nice, buddy.
So you need to know what you're pairing up for because like this weekend after Kentucky, I went ahead and went into NRL 22X and PRS. I was trying to see where local matches were. Because we're in it right now and we're wanting to stay sharp, and that's why we're practicing and that's why we're doing this. I had one guy was like, "Do you guys even shoot center fire?" Yeah, we do, but who can right now? Right now,
the components are hard to find. Yeah,
can't find bullets, can't find primers, and we have them, but you don't want to burn through what you have, not knowing when you can replenish that.
Exactly.
Yeah, guys, this is a lot of fun. There was somebody that actually commented that he's going to a match in 2 weeks in North Carolina. And he's going to go watch it first.
No, don't watch it.
Go
shoot.
I was nervous. Listen, I was as nervous as I could stand to be the first one I did. I went out, showed my ass. I didn't shoot well. Sorry about the cousin. Didn't shoot well, but I learned that watching it is one thing. Participating is another. Go out and do it. Pretty soon you'll be dumping all your hard-earned money into.
What we got on the wall here. We'll check in a second.
Yeah. I got
so the thing about John that surprised me, and we talked about it a little bit at dinner tonight. I guess you've had comments on somebody might say, "Well, you're shooting with those guys all the time."
Yeah.
Well, if you have somebody that, let's say, already knows the ropes and have already been down that path, why wouldn't you align yourself with them?
I'm not going to learn to ride a motorcycle from somebody who drives a moped, all right, or can't even drive a moped. Thank you very much. I have a huge advantage over a lot of people out there because I've got these gentlemen teaching me. It's great.
Yeah.
At some point I'll be able to repay them.
It's not about that. It's promoting the sport. And the thing is if I find somebody like John or like Rick, when we started hanging out, that has this true desire to learn and they're willing to put in the time and the practice and the effort, then why wouldn't I share the information that nobody shared with me? I had to learn it. Yeah. And it's a whole lot easier now, guys, with these Kestrels and with these apps on the phones. I mean, imagine if somebody took all that away from you and said, you can't shoot with your Kestrel or your Streetlock Pro. You got to do it all on data card books that you had that you've kept from dope
years. Exactly.
Correct. So, and I'm not saying I know a lot, but I've learned a lot over the years because of the mistakes. So I don't mind shooting with these guys at all. I mean, because
this guy made me get a Kestrel. I did my first competition with a Kestrel out in Kentucky.
Yep.
I didn't trust it. I was nervous. I just gotten familiar with putting my environmentals in.
Later, DW.
On my Kestrel.
Yep.
Or not my Kestrel, my Streetlock. And I was referring back and forth and splitting the difference.
I could tell you didn't want to buy the Kestrel because now you have something else you got to learn.
Exactly. I just learned the
yeah,
shooting off.
and you were getting good at that. The problem is
I
you
was.
weren't you weren't getting updated environmentals.
I was
You
coming
weren't able to get
these
wins.
gentlemen.
Yeah, you weren't able to get wins.
They're in the middle of getting their data for
you
the
were
next.
a pain in my butt.
Yeah, yes, and I saw it for the first time this last one, a new gentleman, and I'm in the middle of trying to get my data for the next stage, and he comes up and starts talking to me. I'm like, oh my god, this guy is me, and it was like a flash. I walked up half an hour later, tapped on his shoulder. He's getting his data. He just finished running the previous stage, and again, he immediately goes loads his magazines and gets his data for the next stage. Then he'll sit and help
That's
people
funny.
out.
You should mention that. That's that checklist I do.
That's right. And I've learned, matter of fact, this match in Kentucky was the first one where I felt organized. I remember you discussing that months back about you saying, look, and you did very well. I think that was the VOD match. He did very well.
Yeah, I was focused.
Yes. And getting everything prepared immediately is key. And I learned that from these guys.
That's why the bad MF was invented. Because I was a train wreck. And I was like, you know what?
God,
everything I need is right here.
My ammo, my magazines, everything I needed is in my hand. And it was a game changer.
This isn't a sales pitch
No,
about
it's not.
that, but it's whatever system you have, make sure all of the stuff you need is right there, not in the bottom of a backpack where you're digging through food and gloves and everything else to get to the stuff
which is
you
exactly what I was doing.
Correct.
And I just sat back and I watched these guys, and I'm thinking, they're prepared. Immediately going to the next stage. So I did that, and what a difference it made.
Vanessa Kitty Joaquin had answered
relax.
that question for you. We're not ignoring you, just we're
Val's got a good point. You always want to try to squad with better shooters, regardless of the sport. In shooting sports, people are willing to share secrets and strategies. Go figure. To a point, Val. To a point. There are a lot of people in, maybe not so much for pistol, because there's not this dark art, if you will, with pistol. There it is. There's your target. You shoot at it. Now, maybe you can save some time by basically so that you're not wasting a lot of time while moving in USPSA. Maybe you can shoot those targets while you're retreating so that you're closer to these other targets. Those are little hints and strategies for sure. But when it comes to this long range shooting, whether it's 22 or center fire, there's this group of people, and I'd say for the most part, that aren't going to share every bit of data with you that they have learned.
Especially if they don't.
A secret, but it's just
they don't have time too.
They don't have the time. They're busy doing their thing.
Hunts BD, you got the EBR2C by Vortex, and I'm running right now. I just switched over, and I'm not liking it, so I'm back to the EBR2C by Vortex, the HD 4.5 to 27. He's shooting the same one with the reticle, the trimmer 3, and you're
which is busy for a 22.
Did you notice it's kind of tough?
It's busy, but
it works.
And I haven't practiced holding with it.
You said something really good today. When you and I first started shooting together and we went out to the range, what did I tell you about your power?
Oh, so I'm a little thick. He kept telling me, John, turn your power down, turn your power. So I went out to the Kentucky match, and I walked over to your gun, and I'm looking at the power you're shooting at. And you're saying, power's not your friend. I think, come on, I can see the target. I know. Okay, so you can't see your misses when you're powered right up on it. What a difference it made. Now I'm calling my own shots with a 22 at 200 yards. Oh, I'm just over left. I could never do that before. And I always thought, how in the hell does he know that?
Yeah, you got
listen to him.
Zoom in with a target, filming my reticle.
And that's exactly what I was doing.
My whole screen's white.
Yeah. Well, I know it's all white. I'm going to hit it. Well, the problem is when you get a miss and you got to do it's what a game changer that was. And I think I shot it about. I figured
this is your highest ever. You shot well.
But I did. I did shoot for myself well. For these guys, no. For myself, yes. And again, I can't hold myself to the same standard. And if you go out and you start doing this, don't get disappointed. Don't get all upset, butt hurt over the fact that everybody's walking all over you. So what? Motivation. That's all it is. Motivation to improve. Get out there and start shooting more. It will come. It's come to me, and I think probably within the next 3 matches, I will start seeing even more improvements.
Yeah.
Every match. I hope. I'm going to put the time in. I'm going to throw bullets down target. I now turn my reticle down. I can start doing my own calls. Now that I know that the whole idea is not to fill my whole scope with white, big difference. Again, these guys can only lead this horse to water. This horse's ass to water.
And then the best part is half the time he
drink.
doesn't listen.
No, that's it. I mean, I'm a 52-year-old man.
It took me 3 hours to get his feet to just go from here to here.
But did you notice I did that? And another thing I noticed, instead of noticing the things I'm doing wrong, I'm noticing the things I'm doing right because I practiced. Yeah. I've observed these guys when they're hitting the stage before I hit it. I watch everything that they do.
It helps a lot.
And for instance, that rope, I was second on the rope. And I'm thinking, oh, dang it. I want to watch these guys and see what they're going to do. They did it. I did it differently than they did. I was a second one up. I walked up and it was difficult. I mean, it's hanging by one. You explained it.
Yeah.
It's like the things you climb up at the circus.
Yeah, Jacob's ladder.
Yeah. It's even harder shooting off than it is climbing the damn thing.
I think it is, actually. It was tough.
I had, I think I had 4 hits on that stage.
Yeah.
Out of what, 6 or 8?
Vanessa Kinney, chassis, XLR, MPA.
Okay, so Talking Rock had commented on a video earlier, and he goes, "Ray, I thought you liked the MPAs. I just ordered one, because I thought you liked them."
I love the MPAs.
And the thing is I like the MPAs. I think it's a great chassis. I'm running the XLRs because those were certificates that I had won from matches. And so I got into them for next to nothing, and I really like the chassis. Not just because I got them for the price, but they offer a lot. Now, that's not without some detractors, okay? Rick's big thing is making fun of the chassis about how magazines don't fit and everything else. Well, of course, today, brand new MPA chassis, you go to throw a Voodoo aluminum mag in it. Guess what? It doesn't work. And there's a variance in them. So, because we found this out when Rick and I shot the Tennessee match. He was going to loan me a 15-round aluminum, would not fit in the mag well. And I said, it's not the chassis, it's the magazine. There is a difference in width. And sure enough, there is. You have slight variances that keeps it from going in. No, we just need to get a set of calipers and measure them. But we also noticed the same with mats as well. And my understanding is Voodoo actually doesn't make those magazines. They contract another company out to do them. And you're going to get differences in thickness on coatings and whatnot on it. But, everything has to be tweaked.
Mine won't even lock in.
You can't even put it in.
No.
Yeah, you can't even put it in.
No. And I ordered 2, 3.
Makev says, Rick, did you ever get your MPA hybrid chassis balanced with the Voodoo? Got one in center fire. Actually, I am waiting on, I don't even know what it's called. They're basically the widening, you guys know what it's called?
Rails.
It's a widening rail.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for those. I already got the weights, but I have not put it all together yet because I'm still waiting on that.
Does that interfere with the Picatinny rail on the bottom of those?
No.
That's the. I know they're ordered.
It doesn't have a Picatinny down there. It's basically the
that's built into the Arca Swiss.
Yeah, there's a spot where you can put it in.
Vanessa Kitty said she found a new waterproof paper. I will research the company more before I get samples. The rain paper is the only ones we've been using those for years. You want to usually use Write in the Rain pens for those as well.
Someone had asked, are you still using basically your sniper logbooks to keep data? Probably not on your 22s.
On the 22s, absolutely not, because barrel life and all that's not critical, so it's not necessary. On my center fire, I still try to maintain as best of a barrel log as I can on it, especially with these fast burning, 6 Creedmoor, 6 Dasher. I mean, you don't want to, go to a match and have 1,300 rounds in the barrel and assume you're going to get through the match, because it could let go during that time. Probably better to rebarrel.
Is it that pronounced? I mean,
when it goes, it goes.
Really?
Yeah.
And then Vanessa Kitty, Ray just did a video like today on his whole complete Voodoo build, and then I did one about a video back or two.
Yeah, it's kind
of not the live chats, but a video.
It's kind of what I'm running. And that can always change, but it's what I'm running right now. It's what I feel comfortable with. If I had to change anything, I am going to source me an ace barrel for my action. I'm not satisfied with the results. We did it again today, and out of the groups that we shot, I had one run that even came close to what the ace barrels would do. One.
Yeah, John shot his rifle. What was it, 10-round group?
Right off the bat.
This was brand new barrel.
And it got worse
cleaning,
from there out.
No cleaning, no nothing.
They were tight, but 50 yards. But I mean, everyone was touching.
Your first 3 shots.
It was one hole. Yeah,
one hole.
I was like, yeah, it looks like that one's working well.
Yeah. Damn it.
Brian says, "What's taking you so long to get a new barrel?" Because I was just going to order a new barrel to action, and that ended up falling through. And I've got some other stuff that I've got coming as well in the line of centerfire rifles. So I don't want to spend all my money in one place just yet.
Orson says the Gen 2 Crypods.
Is that your daughter's gun or your gun?
That's going to be her gun.
That's a nice gun.
This is not good. Oh, only fits the MDT pick rail area 419, and no other rails fit.
Hey, Eric, I wanted to say sorry to hear about your dad. I think his dad's got cancer.
Yeah.
Sorry
about that, Eric.
Yeah, Eric, sucks. Signing a new notebook. Build double loop wire bindings. Heavy cover wire strippers. Nice.
Nice.
What pins or markers do you use for the really right stuff? Paperwork. It says tells that name Strader.
Where did you see this?
What I just read? Right here.
Yeah. What pens or markers do you use for the write in the rain paper? So write in the rain paper, you're usually going to buy the pens that are usually sold beside of them that use the Fisher, the space pen refills, but I think they call them write in the rain pens.
Yeah, but those...
And it won't smudge. It won't smear. It's a ballpoint. That's what you're supposed to write on the rain paper. Ryan Berg says that's not true. He has an MDT and runs the Gen 2 double and triple. That's propaganda.
No, what's 19? Drew. What's Drew saying there? Like $19 a pop. Is he talking to somebody else?
Probably the pens. I don't know.
Yeah, the pens or the paper. That stuff's expensive.
Sorry, I meant to say MPA chassis. Ray, why the drop in the trigger weight? Well, I started playing around. Rick's was set really, really light. And I wanted to see if it would improve the groups, and there was no difference. I did back it off just a couple clicks, and the reason I did that was because of Mini X. She's been actually doing some more training with me at the house because Rick and I got some new targets at the house, some of the JC Steel targets, and we set up an actual little mini rimfire course, and she was having to actually put a lot of pressure to fire it. And I was like, you know what? I mean, physically, she was having to put a lot more pressure in it than I thought she needed to, so I wanted to lighten it up so she could use it. And it's not a hair trigger. It's still heavier than both of you guys' triggers. But I dropped it to about a pound. Yeah, somewhere around.
What is mine shooting, roughly?
Yours is light.
Yeah. Yours is
was lighter.
Even after
I turned it up.
So we
turned it up
for you. We turned it up.
Yeah, because I had it light.
It was light.
Yeah.
We're
like, no, he can't have this trigger.
I do not like a really light trigger. I have a hunting gun. I bought. That's a 300 Ultra Mag, and that trigger on that, I'm an extremely cautious individual. I sat down. I had my gloves. It was in Kansas. I had my hands inside my gloves, and my glove hit that as I was sitting down. And I kid you not, just from my floppy fingers that my fingers weren't in, shot a round off right at my ear.
Ooh,
scared. I haven't touched the gun yet. I'm changing the trigger out. If it's that soft,
for hunting, there is no reason to have a trigger that light.
I just bought the gun. I had put maybe 10 rounds through it just at the cost of the bullets. A couple bucks a shot. I'm like, no, we'll put 10 rounds through it. We're good. I just
how long did it take for you to get your ear back?
Oh, it rung for 2 days.
I bet.
It was awful. It scared the hell out of me.
Attitude that needs to be taken.
But for instance, your daughter, like today, I started pulling some of my shots. Well, the simple fix. Ray had said to me, Ray or Rick, I think it was Ray actually. Ray said, John, your finger's too far in. And that's one of those things, a little reminder. Yeah. So
he had it in here. And I was like, just relax the grip a little bit and try to use more. It doesn't have to be on the pad. But I don't want to see somebody hooking their finger inside of it and immediately he just started.
But it's the same kind of the same principle. If you're pulling that trigger, if it's too heavy of a trigger, a pound and a half, probably. I think what is my gun? It's probably that's a 2-stage trigger, correct?
No,
I've got a lot of ride in that.
Which one? The one you just
the
got?
Ruger.
Oh, the Ruger.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that trigger. I do. I love it.
All right.
It is a 2-stage.
Let me show the guys. Can't touch though, right?
Right.
Can't touch.
So
look at that pretty wall.
All right. There they go. So this one is Rick's, but it has a new 20-inch barrel on it with an MTU contour. Matrix chassis you're switching this back out though, right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. That is the H59.
And this is Kreiderman's. He got the flat dark earth.
Yeah, looks good.
Thank you, Rick.
He's got the bag rider on here. He does have the Vortex. It does have the F3R machine with the riser here so they can run his data card as well as the LRA level. Does have the Trigger Tech Diamond trigger in it, but it is a curved, not a flat trigger.
Yeah.
And
trimmer 3 reticle.
And a trimmer 3 reticle. And that is a 20-inch as well, 20-inch MTU contour.
He's running the vertical grip with the, it has that little like finger shelf thing.
Oh, the chassis you're talking about to set your thumb on?
Your grip. Actually, you can see it when you.
Can you zoom out just a little bit so I can get this focused again? No. I mean, zoom out on the picture. I don't know if you're.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this one.
You got it all jacked up. There we go.
Sorry, we have to zoom in on this side to be able to read the comments.
Yeah. Let's do that again. Green screen.
What are y'all drinking tonight?
Oh, my water. Speaking of which, I'm going to go get my water. I'm as thirsty as I can stand to be.
Let's see. I'll read that too, boss. There, brother.
Do you organize your dope before you go to a match?
We take it at the match.
You always take it at the match. Now, for me, because I am running, one of the things I forgot to mention. So, guys, on that review that I did today of my rifle, I did not have the digital dope card in there, the one that I run that links with my phone. So, to answer this question specifically, what I'll do, there were 11 stages at the Kentucky match.
Hit the thumbs up button.
And they usually have the yardages for course of fire. What I'll do is I'll name it stage 1 with the yardage, and I'll leave the dope blank. I'll do that for all the stages. That way it's already preloaded into my phone. The day of the match, I'll spin up the Kestrel right on the stage. Let's say stage 1. I'll check the dope, and then I will upload it into that data card, and it's there. It's just a quick, easy way. I don't have to mess with pens, pencils, anything like that, and it works well for me. So it's the eDope.
So I've actually been thinking about bringing a notepad prior to the night before. Usually we're staying in a hotel room. TVs never go on. We may go grab some dinner, whatever. I'll go and I'll take a look at the sheet, and I'll just wrap my head around it, and I'll start getting on my Shreed. Now it's my Kestrel, and I'll just kind of get general ideas, write them down so I know when I go to a stage. I can still remember, like on my 8.1 mils at 200 yards with my Ruger. I could tell you, ask me a yardage, I'll tell you what my dope is on that. Hopefully I'll get there, have general knowledge. I can retain that information. I still write it on my hand. I got to get used to having once I get my dope card, my holder on the side of my gun. That's going to be a game changer too, I believe, because I'm always taking my hand out.
You still got writing from
I do from today.
And B. Malloy, let me address this really quickly. Yes, the X-Ring Customs website might be down for a day or two. We're actually switching merchant services. So that way we can legally sell knives on that website, and I can actually include a picture instead of just a special elite or whatever. That's what we're working on right now.
Hit that thumbs up button, everybody. Everybody keeps saying out there.
What electronics do you bring into the field and matches?
You got 65.
Kestrel on the phone
94.
just to record, really.
A Kestrel and a phone?
Electronic wise? Oh, and LRA level. If you want to call that electronic.
That actually, I think, is going to be a game changer for me, having that level.
Yeah.
I don't utilize mine as much as I would. That last
it's so
match,
easy. You just open up.
I didn't even put it on my rifle. Even
Really?
with heavy winds and shooting out to 300 yards, I'm trying to get better at just knowing that it's level. But
you can almost tell.
I think it's impossible.
I notice my scope is tilting a little to the right when I'm level and I'm looking down range.
When you think it's level, is that what you're saying?
Well, no, when it's actually showing green in my
gotcha.
level. So I think tomorrow I'll probably end up shifting.
You need a level for long range ELR or center fire shooting.
Yes.
You will get in a position that you think is perfectly level, and you are so far out of level it's not even funny.
And that's why you will
start missing your targets.
He does have to send it.
Have been out to
carry.
I don't know if I can say it. Our gun range.
Yeah,
you can say it.
VOD.
Virtue of defense.
And I've taken my gun in at 200 yards, and I tilted it. I just want to see the effect, and it is dramatic.
Correct.
It shocked me. I'm just going to say I didn't expect to make that much difference.
Yeah.
Well, instead of the bullet going like this, now it's going like that.
Yep. Yeah, and it was tilting it. I don't know how many degrees. Let's just say, here's your level. Just tilting it that much, I'm missing the target.
1 degree.
It was huge. I have to see it on that guy. You can tell me all day long.
I got to see it.
No, we're not going to grab it.
Whiteboard.
1 degree of
knowledge
at 1,000 yards is 5 to 6 inches off.
At how many yards?
1 degree at 1,000 yards with a centerfire rifle. It can influence at 5 to 6 inches.
That is crazy.
Great question, Orson. Our next match, I believe we will be shooting offhand, which sucked today.
That's VOD, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, is your MPA hybrid or is it the BA?
Don't know.
Hybrid.
It's the hybrid. He has weights, but they're waiting on the rail kit.
Yeah, the weights that we bought were not the normal ones. This guy asks me all the time, let's put the weights on. I'm like, you got to get the rails first.
He gets so aggravated. I love
I do have them, but they're in the car. They're a thinner weight by Gray Ops, and they actually fit inside of the rail. What's nice about the rail is you actually get 75% more width. So we're going to be about...
Which is going to be nice for setting it with a weight on it and setting on a pillow.
Well, yeah, a bag. Yeah, so I might be able to not shoot with the plate, except when I want to run like that bag, that Coltac bag. But then you put the weights on. Once they show up,
a wider surface area.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is going to give you more stability
and weight. It's giving me a little more weight.
Correct.
I'm trying to utilize that along with some weights. Hopefully not too many, to get it balanced. But with the Matrix chassis, it's definitely got some booty on the back end.
Yeah, so
it's a lot of weight in the back. I might have to drill some
I'm gonna bring this. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up because Rick and I were talking about this earlier. So I think there are better chassis more suited to 22 ELR competition than others. Okay, I don't think just because it's a Remington 700 based platform that you can throw any Remington 700 chassis on it and assume it's going to be great, because your balance could be way off. It's my opinion, and it could be completely wrong, but it's my opinion that this chassis right here, this Matrix, great chassis, but it has a lot of weight in the rear back here. Guys, that is a lot of aluminum. And right now, this rifle is extremely butt heavy, okay? Now, the XLR that I have, it has weights all on the inside that you can take out. Once I took that out, the back end lost all of its weight. And so now I can add weight to the back to get it balanced. You guys saw I was sitting on the perch. This one will not do that right now. And you say, well, you can just counterbalance it off the front. Well, the thing is, you're chasing this because you can't take any more weight out of it up here. And now you end up with a rifle that's going to be 26 pounds. And so I was talking to Rick and I was like, honestly, I think your other chassis is better, the BA hybrid.
Yeah, it'll balance out better.
It'll with less weight.
Yeah.
With less weight.
But I think I'm going to put the 20-inch in it, just call it done. I don't know what I want to do yet.
So it's one of those things, you don't want to put too much into it, too much thought into it, but you do want a balanced rifle. John, you are running the LRA. Send it. Somebody asked, Carrie asked if you.
I'm blind.
And he's basically saying you can put Velcro on the back of it and run a dope cart.
Yeah, well, I want to buy one of those little ones that I can fold in.
Yeah, he wants the Hawk Hill custom.
But I'm saying for now, you could run.
Yeah, because you have it, especially because yours sticks out. You just put a piece of Velcro there and stick your data card on.
Just put your data card there.
Oh, good call.
And I have Velcro at the house.
Tell Carrie, good call.
Good call, Carrie. Thank you.
Yeah, so
stop writing on my hand.
Black Watch
87. That is a great question. I'm going to answer this as truthfully as I can. I love the XLR chassis. It fits me well. It works great. However, it's not without its issues. The only issue that I'm seeing with it that concerns me a little bit, it was a little bit of my fault, is Chris Simmons, who's a world-renowned shooter, he said, do not tighten your action screws until you put the magazine into the chassis first, torque it, not your bolts, but torque the magazine like you're pressing into a barricade, then tighten it. Well, that goes against everything I've ever done with centerfire. Centerfire, you're supposed to put it in there. You're supposed to seat it, bounce it on the ground a couple times so that recoil lug is flat up against the chassis. Well, we're not dealing with that kind of recoil on these 1022s. If you don't do that, you are going to have feed problems. The advantage the MPA has is they have the patented mag release system that's adjustable. So you could have it so that it locks in here. You can have it so that it locks in higher.
Yeah.
And that's nice. That's really nice to have.
We actually ended up messing with that. Because once I got the Matrix, it already had one in it. I liked it so much because you could press as hard as you wanted into a barricade.
It doesn't change anything.
Doesn't change anything. I ordered one for the hybrid.
Let's see what Shaggy said.
Shaggy.
What are you 45 line away my rear too.
Yeah, I saw that one.
That's gonna have to wait, buddy. Let's see.
When are you really? Come on, dude.
Let's see.
I just put the magnetic quick change cheek piece in the MPA chassis. Nice to have when cleaning. Yep. Tyler said, cut a chunk of that butt off.
Yeah. I just keep drilling holes through the back till it finally lifts up off the ground. What are your data card made of, or what company made them? Taking lots of notes tonight. It's basically, here's a perfect example right here. It's just a card, like a plastic card.
What you can do is you can order badge cards, the ones that actually for the printers for badge IDs, and you could use those. So that's basically what I sell on the website. The clear one, the big data board holders, we actually had a plastics company manufacture those for us. And those are nice. Like the board that I set up, the whole layout.
Yes,
that's what's nice is the sector sketch when you're trying to put 15 targets out there.
You should put one of those on the side of your rifle.
There you go.
Just kabam!
Then I could see it.
Then you can see it.
Then I don't have an excuse.
Eagle Eye XLR is an impressive chassis. I'll still say their machining quality is better than anybody else out there. Just the attention to detail on that. A lot of people don't like the aesthetics of maybe the back end of it, but I do like the chassis. I'm just thinking for 22, maybe it needs a little bit of tweaking. Every once in a while, I'll have a misfeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say, I noticed all the guys are carrying tripods with them. And I wondered why you're spending the money on those, right? So just like the Bad MF, you got everything contained. You grab that, you grab your gun, you walk out. With the large cards that you have today, that's just ideal. These little things. Every time I go to a match, I don't overwhelm myself. I'll pick. That's why I get better every time. I just pick little tidbits of information, and I actually listen to 2 out of the 5 things that I'm told, and I'll implement them the 4th time out. Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a lot of information with this, and sometimes I'm overwhelmed with the information. So today, they corrected me on my stance again.
Yeah, stance.
So again, I noticed when I did a couple positional shoots in Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky.
I went down on the wrong knee. It's just normal for me going on my left knee. And no, you want right knee. You want your right. I'm right-handed, so I've got a bag, and bam, I'm sitting it there, and now I'm stable. What a different little things. Yeah. That's why when you just go out and do a competition. If you have an opportunity to do so, go out and do it, and you'll pick little pieces every time. That's the only way you're going to get better. Don't be a watcher, be a doer.
That's right.
Go and do it.
When I interviewed the one guy, Rick, the older gentleman on the channel that was like 60 years old, he showed up with a 10-22. It's the first long-range match he'd ever shot. Had never shot past 100 yards in his life.
He actually did pretty well.
Had a duplex reticle, shooting a 10-22. He did not come in last.
He did not.
He did
in
not.
the windiest conditions I've ever shot it.
He was like, "Yep, I'm getting me a bolt gun." That's what he said, because he had a couple malfunctions.
Yeah,
he did
that were induced by bag placement, things like that for the ejection port. Someone asked about the timer. So I'm not a big timer guy, and I never thought I wanted to be one or have one on my rifle. But a lot of guys are running these timers on their rifle, and somebody sent us a link today. Big shout out,
Brian Marks.
I'd like one.
So what I did was I looked at it and I was like, and this is what I get aggravated with. You ever spotted for somebody and they're like, time, and you're like,
me,
45 seconds, time. 10 seconds from the last time you asked, you have that guy, and I guess they don't mean it, but they don't want to run out of time.
They're getting worried.
And I rarely ask for time, usually twice during a whole match, maybe. And it's got to be a long stage. But I figure it's easier if I just set it for 1:20 instead of 1:30. That way I'll have a 10-second buzzer that'll let me know there's 10 seconds left. If I'm trying to get 2 targets, maybe I'll just follow it up quickly rather than boom and then run out of time for that last shot. So I was sent a link. XLR makes a little timer holder, and it wasn't that expensive. I think it was $30-something. And the XLR chassis is already drilled and tapped. So I just put it on the left side, and then there's a watch you can get from Amazon. It's like $30, a little sports watch, and it's there. I saw one at the match when the guy had the ring one. It's the same one. Yeah. The guy actually had a little ring, and it was a watch. It was about that big.
Just big enough to see it.
And he could just, boom. As soon as he starts, he can hit it with a thumb. And you're like, well, that's what watches are for. Guys, that's one of the most aggravating things, because you're holding a bag, you're holding your rifle.
Yeah, and you're
it's not easy to do to hit a start button. Whereas that other one, you can actually just hit it with your thumb, or if it's on the rifle, you can just reach over and hit it with a thumb. It's just being a little more efficient than trying to say, all right, go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested to try it out.
I have not seen one yet. And I would love to have one, because I'm the guy that'll take a test, and whatever it is, I'll take a test. And I'll be doing the math on how much time have I done. I've just finished 30 questions. And instead of reading the damn question, so for a time stage for me, it adds pressure. So if I know what I've got and I can look up like I do at my level, look up and see that I got 45 seconds. I can start, all right, I need to hurry the pace up. Or I need to slow down. I mean, there have been times, not often, where I've ping down through them, and I've rushed my last couple shots, and I've had 20 seconds left. It's like, oh, geez, I wished I'd have known that. Again, time.
3 crowns. Are you still out there? Let me know.
Drew Bradley, yes, we do have the large dope cards for the
we used it today.
We actually used it today. I sell them on the website. They call them sector drawing or sketch cards. They work great. I always make sure I have one at the match. Rick always carries one. You guys will see how beneficial they are.
I will soon be carrying one.
So yeah, it's good. It's good.
Marked with a sharp.
I did not have a chance to try Rick's chassis on my Voodoo. We were going to do that today, but he forgot to bring the action screws, and the action screws from my rifle wouldn't fit. They were too long.
That is a fact.
They were way too long.
You guys do any PRS matches anytime soon?
Where do you see that?
Right there, Ryan Berg.
Ryan Berg, not sure. I've been checking on both. I'm waiting on some rifles to come in. But yeah, we'll probably start hitting some PRS matches here shortly. I was doing some inventory on bullets and whatnot. I think I'm going to stick with 6-dasher. I still need one more HRD kit. I can't find one anywhere. I have one, but I'm going to shoot a match with one magazine.
Oh, you only have one of those mag kits?
That's all they had.
Oh,
they're out of stock everywhere.
Yeah, that's gonna make things difficult
with 110 round mag. That's the problem.
Lead Mining 44 says, "What 3R mount is John using? The 125 by 34?" Yes, it's the 34 millimeter. I think they're only making a 1 by 25 F3R. I don't think they have options in heights.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, they might now actually.
Yeah, Drew,
yeah,
you might check the site. I'm not sure. It's up and down. My IT,
I got it right.
IT guy's working on it, so I don't know where it's at. I know he's working on it this afternoon. Might be up and running. Anything else you want to talk about as far as the Voodoo? What made you make that jump from the RPR 22 to actually spending the money?
That's easy. All right. I was yet to hit a 300-yard target with my
RPR.
And I'm talking hundreds of rounds. I've got the data, or at least I thought I had the data. According to my tree lock, I had the data. No. Can never hit it. Competitions come. Where was it? The VOD. Oh, so the last match we did at VOD, we had a stage that was 200, 300, 350, correct?
And 370
almost
something. Yeah.
And prior to that, we had some at 500 yards. I knew I wasn't going to hit them because I just spent a week out there throwing bullets down range trying to hit. I could never hit it. And at that distance, you can't see a 22. You just can't. And I didn't have a spotter. So I'm thinking, you know what? It's time. I'm doing decent. Look, these gentlemen can take my gun and beat me all day long if I'm shooting the Voodoo. The Voodoo is just a tool, and it's a great tool. It's not going to win me any matches. Trust me when I say that. These boys could go out with a $100 22 and outshoot me.
He could.
Jesus, did you just do that?
I did. just follow up.
Just keep rolling.
Does not go lower than 125. Yeah, I actually grabbed the boxes from the last two I ordered, and it's the 34 millimeter 1.25 in height.
Oh, that's
the 1 1/4. Yeah. So that's what's on those.
Big Country asks, what mag pouch do you guys use? So Big Country, I'm going to tell you what I do because Rick does something differently. You know, I have the AICS mag holders for the Bad MF now. I put those on the website, got plenty in stock. I usually put 2 in there, and then I have 2 on the outside of the patch that I'm running on G-code holders. When it is time for me to shoot my stage, I'll take 2 of them, and I will put them in my back pocket, or I'll put them in the little kangaroo pocket on a sweatshirt. These guys can all tell you, I had a spare mag on my kangaroo pocket on my sweatshirt. It's not belt mounted. It's not anything else.
I carry it in my pocket.
Chances of me needing it, the reason I don't carry it in my back pocket is I don't want to be like Matt and bust my pants wide open.
I taped it. I felt weird doing it.
So Matt had one in his back pocket, and he squatted down, and you heard.
He said, "I just
that magazine." Yeah. That magazine was poking out. Let me out of
Those
here.
Were nice pants. Those were the expensive ones.
Yeah. I had given him a brand new set of Cries. I mean, Cry Precision, nice pants. He's like, I can fit in these. And then he sticks his big mag back there. And
just you said his big ass back there?
I said big mag back there.
Oh,
mag. Anyway, long story short, you always want to make sure you have a reload on you somewhere. Chances of you needing it, slim to none.
But don't put them in your front pocket either, though.
No, you don't want to be laying down. So
having a
kangaroo pocket or something helps.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, you probably want to do like Rick, have like a Kydex or Armageddon.
Little Armageddon, yeah.
Where it's on the back there. But
did you notice I stopped wearing my coat, my jacket during the stage?
Yes, we always take all of ours off during the stage.
And again, that's something. Actually, you've done it before.
If I get hot, I do it.
I took my jacket off before every stage. I don't know if you noticed that.
I started taking it, especially when I got that jacket that makes me look fat.
Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Not the jacket.
So Big Country, I'm running the Armageddon gear one. There was a question about the reticle that I'm using. I have an H59 that I tried out today that was on my 6 Creedmoor. And I kept tossing back and forth what I wanted to do. And at the end of the day, I'm putting my EBR2C back on. I always complained that there wasn't the 2 tent holds. And at the end of the day, I mostly dial, and I guess semi will in between where the 5 and a 7 might be, somewhere in there. But I noticed I actually enjoyed the open sight instead of the dot in the middle today. When I was shooting at targets, I don't know if it's because of all the leaves
I
out
love
there.
the dot.
But I was like, I don't know. I think it's just from shooting that reticle so much. I'm just used to that, and my eyes going, "What the hell is this dot doing in the middle of the dang hole?"
But today's the first time I've shot it that I could see my reticle. All right, so you gave me that tip back when I was shooting my 6.5. Put it up in the sky. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what I was looking at, and then you're like, "Oh, I can see it right there." Of course, somebody else got on my gun.
Big Country said that eliminates back pocket for me.
Yeah, me too.
Did Rick fart again?
Yes,
I don't do that.
Yes, he did.
Yes,
How big MOA are these targets at 300 yards?
It depends on the match.
Yeah, it depends.
Typically,
depends how crazy the match.
Typically, you're going to have an 8-inch steel or so. Yeah, 8-inch.
What distance?
At 300 yards.
Yeah.
This is John Kreiderman. You usually see him out in the Mansour and Shaggy Rifleman's question. Who's the guy in the middle? That is John Kreiderman.
So John was on the channel. John got into long range shooting, and then has recently gotten into the. Matter of fact, you've made pretty much every match. I knew he was dedicated when he's like, "I'm going to make every single match you guys go to,"
and
he is
and more, even more.
Yeah, he wants to go to whatever.
Yeah,
even if when we have to go do the knife stuff, he's like, if I find a match, I'm going.
I looked for a match this weekend. Couldn't find one.
Oh, really?
Nope. I looked everywhere.
I know, because we don't have to be in South Carolina till next week.
Next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, for your
if you guys haven't heard, Palmetto
need a
State
match.
Armory is doing an event called The Gathering. It is open to the public.
Hey, John Clark.
It is going to be at the Sawmill Training Complex, and there's going to be a ton of vendors down there, SIG and Glock and everyone.
Thanks, Joaquin.
We'll be down there demoing the Microtech suppressor, but it is open to the public. I think they do charge an admission, but they're doing the event for the first time. They do have they're actually doing a nighttime. EOTech's putting on, they have a 1,400 yard range, and I think they're going to let you shoot long range at night.
Oh, that could be fun.
Yeah.
With like some thermal-y night vision stuff.
Yeah.
Break out your wallet.
Yeah, break out another couple million.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what will happen if I go down that rabbit hole. My wife will kick my ass to the curb. No more money spending for you.
Let's see.
So Ryan Berg at 300 yards, we had a 300 yard target at this last match. I think it was a 10 by 10 square, and the wind was not even full value. It was like it wasn't even quarter value or half value rather. It was coming in at 730. So it was almost a tailwind, but at 300 yards, it was enough to push the bullet 1.5 mils to 2 mils off, and it just depended on if it was gusting or not. And the problem with that is you couldn't hold that gap without it possibly missing based on the gusts.
Yeah, depending.
You're talking about the one we did
Kentucky
last
match. Yeah,
that was incredible.
Have you ever tried to trim or offer by razor? Yeah, that's by Horace, and they got it in all sorts of different. They got it in Night Force and so on. It's basically the same reticle. Yeah. They actually, Vortex has to pay like $500 royalty fees to use it or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
So you actually are running the Trimmer 3. I'm trying to get away from more busy and go to less.
And I get it because, again, that's busy, but I'm familiar with that. And now that I know how to set
now you know how to shoot
everything, and there's that.
There is that.
Vanessa Kitty says, "What type of pants do you wear to competition?" Vanessa,
cool, loose.
It depends on what type of competition, but you guys know I'm sponsored by Cool. I've been wearing Cool clothing for a long time, but it's usually Cool pants.
Yeah,
you know that? No, I would. You see those pants I wear all the time? They're baggy as hell. That way I can. I know it. Are those cool?
Of course they're cool.
So anyway, but if it's a ruck style match,
I need to get me some of them.
Yeah, then
it's
you
a
be
ruck
wearing
match
Cries.
that's heavy duty. I'll typically be wearing Cry Precision pants, which are very, very expensive. They're made for the military. They run about $400 a set, but they have all the knee cushioning. There's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pockets on it.
Yeah, one's got a chapstick on the bottom left.
Yeah, they're extremely stretchy.
You got any protection? I got myself on that post that day.
Jeez.
Yeah, thing, man.
Oh, that's
I was
good
that close from needing stitches. I was like, oh, she's a bleeder.
Brian Duchesne, it's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week.
Cool. How do you spell the name of the pants?
KUHL. Going ballistic. Ace barrel comes in 2 different contours. MTU. And that's a heavier one, and I think that finishes out like a 0.93 at the muzzle. And then you have the Kukri. It's the KUKRI, which is a thinner contour. And basically it tapers off pretty quickly. Still fat though. I mean, it's still what people would call a who said skinny jeans? I don't wear skinny jeans.
Let's is it Daniel or Daniel?
Well, actually,
it's my judge.
It's Daniel. God is my judge, but we'll just call him
Daniel.
Let's call him Danielle. Competition. His name's Danielle right now.
Hey, you just
here's a quick. So our buddy 3 Crowns out there, it's in an email. He says, curious about how you have your Ruger Precision rimfire setup. I would like to get 40 MOA. That's what does that come with 40? I can't remember. The Ruger.
What about it? Comes with a 30 MOA.
Yeah, I thought it was 30.
Your page is still down.
40 MOA out of the base and ring mounts. Tried 50 and couldn't get scope sighted in at 50. Most likely will change base to a 20 MOA and install a 20 mount to get 40.
Leotard.
These guys aren't listening.
No, I'm listening to you. So I am running 40 minutes. 30 is great. Should be all you need. 40, depending on the scope, if you have enough internal adjustment, you should be fine being able to get a 35 or 50 yard zero or 50 and still be able to acquire at 35, which should be about the same. Be careful jumping up into the higher numbers. I know some guys were saying, I run 50 MOA, your scope might not be able to handle that. And so you're not going to be able to zero 50 yards.
I actually was able to hit 35 yards with the 50. I have 50 MOA on that one up there right now.
Okay, so Joaquin says, it's awesome to get Kreideman's perspective on long-range shooting. Thank you, sir. So with that being said,
give us
a synopsis of how of everything that you learned, things that we always say you don't know what you don't know. And what have been the biggest takeaways for you?
Yeah, and we'll just sit here and we'll talk about it.
Well, I mean, so I started out with my 6.5 Creedmoor, zeroing it. Ray did a video of it. He'd asked me how far I'd shot. He asked me what I use. Do I use MOA? I didn't even know the answer to that. I had no idea. I'd shot maybe 300 yards before. That was the most, and it was just, throw the lead down, see if I can hit the target I'm shooting at. I mean, there's so much I've learned. I mean, right from positional shooting, I could talk for hours on this subject.
Well, tell them a little bit. What is the things you've learned the most of? What is
well, first off, how to use a scope. I literally, they had to walk me, you and Ray walked me through, what the turrets do. I'm still finding things out on my guns. That's the truth. I mean, to get my reticle in focus, I did not realize, and he told me this the first day I shot.
Yeah, I remember that.
Somebody took my gun, their eyes different than mine. They turned it in. I got on and everything was blurry. I'm like, what the? And I continued to shoot that way, not really thinking it was my turret for my distance, right? There's so much I've learned over the course of what I've been doing this about a year now.
About a year, yeah. But your background was hunting.
It was, but hunting is a different animal.
And I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to get some perspective on this. Because when I met you, and I met you a long time ago, you're always big into hunting, but I also noticed that everything that you hunted with were these big, huge Magnum monster calibers.
Actually, my hunting rifle was a 30-06.
But you had like 300.
I got 300 ultras. I used it out in Kansas because I had some distance. I had taken.
Now, at distance, if you have this, what were you hunting? Elk?
No, deer.
Okay, deer.
Whitetail.
So.
Monsters.
Where did you zero your rifle at? What distance? What distance?
250.
Okay, so you zeroed it at 250. You're using these big cartridges. If this deer pops out at 400 yards, are you relying on the fact that this thing shoots so flat and it's got so much power, I'm just going to hold top of his back?
Pretty much.
But it works.
No, I wouldn't take the shot.
Okay.
I would not take the shot.
Now knowing what you know.
Now knowing what I know, if I was out there, I'd take my 6 Creedmoor.
Yep.
And 6.5, and I'd feel comfortable shooting at. I don't know,
because you would laze it, you would know the hold
exactly,
and dial it, and it'd be another clean shot.
I'll give you an example. I have a picture on my phone. I went to Kansas 2 years ago, and there was a buck, and we were hunting a 200-inch buck. There's pictures of it. We've got this beautiful piece of land that we lease. And I'm watching this thing, and I'm like, that looks like a deer. I got my binoculars out. I'm watching this thing. It stood there 2 days in a row. Didn't bed down. It stood there. And you're allowed to use corn.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really hunting. I didn't use corn.
Okay.
And the guys are all laughing at me. It's just, come here, bring it out on a leash and let me shoot the thing. But this thing was standing there, and my buddy had a corn pile. He was probably, I don't know, quarter mile, but he was standing on this hill. And I'm watching this thing, and I'll show you the picture of it. I had to put my scope up, and I took a picture through my scope, and you can see it. 2 days this thing haunted me. If I had my 6.5 Creedmoor, it was about 500 yards out, I'd have dropped that because that was the deer everybody was hunting. Bam! I'd have ate those antlers.
So the good side of this is you've learned how to become a better hunter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Majority
of your hunting is shooting.
A more confident hunter.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the well put. A more confident hunter.
We got John Clark says my wife works at the Cracker Barrel in, was it Stanton? Staunton served you guys a while back. Huh. Where's Staunton at? Which Cracker Barrel? In Staunton. Staunton. I don't know where that is. Stanton? Isn't there a Stanton nearby?
I'm trying to think of the last time we ate at a Cracker Barrel.
It's been forever. We used to eat there all the time before we'd head off to Clinton House. Or after. I don't know. Well, very cool. What's this craft stress test? Do you guys know what that is? That's not
so Chris Way is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about this for just a minute because I had someone asking about the ZCO, the zero compromise optics, okay, which is a really high-end optic.
Yep.
I think it's made in Austria, and I'm allowed to share this information. Give me a second. I don't want to ad lib here. I want to say this verbatim.
Does barrel contour play a big role on a 22 PRS rifle as they do a center fire rifle? I'm curious. I don't believe so. I think it's just more weight up front. +5. I went with actually the MTU, and so did John, the heavier barrel, and we went with the 20-inch instead of the 18. Is it enough weight up front to balance my rifle out more? No, it's not. But
freehand shooting is going to be difficult for me. That's
going to be tough.
Wow.
Okay, guys. So take this with a grain of salt. There's 92 people in there. What I mean by that is I have not been personally responsible for these tests, but someone that's very, very credible has been testing Leupold, the Mark V HD, the Night Force 7-35, the Collis 6-24, and the ZCO. All four of these scopes have been put through rigorous testing in the desert, in the snow, and also in tropical environments. This test has been going on for about 2 months now, and the last part of it is the humid, swampy part. And I specifically asked, how's the ZCO holding out? Because I was very interested in it. And what I heard, this is straight. I'm not going to tell you who it's from, but the answer is poor. It is completely out of the running. I've had several issues with them and saw other similar ones repeat in other people's ZCOs. I'm leaning towards the Night Force and the Leupold. I'm also looking to throw a Tangent Theta into the mix as well. Here's the problem. The glass fogs up concentrically, which is weird, but you lose field of view in cold weather and at dawn, dusk, and humid environments when fog clouds the glass. Shots, for some reason, cause the parallax to move, and you have to regularly readjust parallax. Now, guys, this is a high-end scope. Now, I'm going to leave the other stuff out of it because it'll kind of, I'm just going to stay out of that part of it. But this part says ZCO has amazing customer service, the easiest to work with out of all the scope companies I've bought from. Having said a lot of negative,
that's a big deal.
I have beat on them very, very hard, and they have never lost zero. Did this 30 days at the range, and it always tracked perfectly. So take with it what you will, but that's very, very good, reliable information. That test hasn't been put out yet, but this is someone that came out of pocket to purchase all of these scopes. And so I was really surprised to hear that because I've been hearing so much about the zero compromise. So it's good information. It's information you're probably not going to hear elsewhere anytime soon.
No, not till he puts out the full report for sure.
Correct.
Will be good. American made. Let's see here. It was released about a month ago. Looks appealing. Yeah, I haven't had a
3
chance
crowns.
to check
I don't
it
know
out.
about Ace Barrel Blanks.
I don't either. Joaquin says, hit the thumbs up button, everybody.
Somebody's boss is calling.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Mama's
Somebody
calling.
else is married.
Mark 5 HD is my baby. Blackwater 87 says. You got 500,000.
On the line, I'll trust his opinion. Well said, Shabalsi.
Yeah, that's going to be. I just want to see how that plays out. Hopefully they got some. John was born in a barn.
No, it's not an article. This was sent to me by the actual tester.
Close the door,
Drew. So that's the article's not out yet, and I got to leave it at that right now. Maybe one of these days I'll get a Tangent Theta. I don't know. I just don't know what it's going to offer me over some of the other ones. But right now, I am happy with the Burris, happy with Night Forces and all that. But I will be running, the Burris's for the remainder of the season. There's some good stuff coming out from them here soon. We'll talk about that later. I've mentioned it to you guys on the chat before.
Did you answer about the what caliber is using?
Most of it was 6.5, I believe. Just goes to show you a few people put their gear through the strength test and take some to show their weaknesses. Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's a great point. Most people that are going to buy these will never put them through that hard of paces. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Especially.
He's going from sub-zero stuff out to the desert and hot temperatures and beating the heck out of them.
That is putting it through his rigors.
New JTAC reticle is really nice. X-ring, Joe M says.
Yeah, I'll look into it for sure, but maybe I can get one for review or something.
If you spend $4 on glass, it means I won the lottery.
4K probably.
Yeah, you put 4K. I have a question about.
Go ahead and ask about the Cant
maybe
6 rudders,
topic,
and then maybe I can break out the whiteboard of knowledge.
6 rudders, ask it.
Okay, so Drew Bradley says he was worried about the darker colored glass in his Burris XTR2. Now, Drew Bradley, to be fair, John Kreiderman has a Burris XTR2. It is dark in shaded areas. When you get in full sun, you'll never notice the difference. But when you get into a dark environment, let's say you're shooting in a canopy of trees or something, that's when you're going to notice that difference. That's what you're paying for with this higher end glass. And I was telling John this the other day, you cannot compare an XTR2 to a Razor HD. It is a completely different level. Now, the XTR3 is on the same par with the glass, but you are not the same when it comes to illumination because the XTR3 is not offered with illumination at the moment. So once they can do that, I'm happy with the reticle choice, but that's what you're paying for, guys. You're never going to see it when you have full sun and you're shooting at 100 yards on a piece of paper. You might see a little bit of clarity on the edges and whatnot, but that's not where you see it. That's not where you see it.
We shoot in shaded, dark areas a lot. Ray's 100-yard target is solid trees,
It is a tunnel.
Covered up. It's a damn tunnel.
It's a dark tunnel.
Yeah, so if you're running, that's where I noticed it first, using that. I was like, man, this is not doing very well. And actually, when we brought that scope out to VOD where there was lots of sun, open, not as many trees, it actually looked great. Or good, I should say.
The scope I have on my Ruger compared to my Vortex, the Vortex it's so much better. Yeah, it's also a lot more money.
So Charles is talking about the tomatoes versus tomatoes with the Tangent Theta versus the ATAC R. And I get it. Okay, so if you've played around and used a lot of the scopes, like the Schmitz, like the Hensholtz, like the Tangents, what are you getting for that money? That's my point. A lot of you guys might say, well, did you step down by going from a $3,600 Night Force ATACer down to a Burris XTR3? Depends on what I'm using it for. I got my ass handed to me multiple times by guys shooting XTR2s. Got to shoot with the burst team a lot, and they were constantly beating me. And it was like, you know what? It's the shooter. You can have the best glass in the world, but it's what you do with what you've got. The XTR3 is good enough for me. It took me. I still haven't done a review on it.
XTR3
still not done a review.
Lighter in weight than the Razor. The Razor is a tank.
And it's almost too heavy, especially when we say that saying pounds equal pain. If you're doing a ruck match or something like that,
but
or anybody that has ever done a ruck match, I've got buddies that have been in those before and they didn't even make the first ruck time. And it's like, well, dude, your pack weighs 65 pounds. What are you thinking? And 65 pounds is not crazy, but you want to keep that weight down. But I had to come to the realization, to the point finally where it was like, this is good enough for me. I can do what I need to do with it. And so far, I mean, you guys have been with me shooting that thing. I've not switched it up or anything else. It's first place, second place, third place. And not in that order, but it's good enough for what I need to do. I wouldn't want to shoot a night match or a low light match. It'd be the wrong optic because there's no illumination. But what are you getting for that money?
I've not really shot at low light. So today is the first time
you saw it in lower light and saw your reticle.
First time. I'll be honest with you. Again, you're asking me what I've learned. I've got so much left to learn. I mean, every time I go out, I focus. I've never done that. I'll watch Ray. I'll watch Rick. Every time they're up on stage, I'm glued to them, watching how they're using for stance, all this, and I implement it as that match or the following match. But I didn't even know I had is it lighted or lit reticle, whatever reticle, illuminated reticle. And it did make a difference. I was like, what? Wow.
Yeah, Charles says 99% of the guys shooting a tangent in PRS NRL are sponsored by him. This past weekend, there were more zero compromise than tangents, but the Razor still ruled the roost. Yeah, absolutely. Part of
Vortex, baby.
Part of my decision, I'm sponsored by Burris now. That is common knowledge.
I'm sponsored by no one. Hey, will your electrical company sponsor me?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes, I will.
Free ammo.
But it's good.
That's going to get expensive.
Yeah.
I just fluttered some money.
Here we go. Maybe time for the whiteboard of knowledge. I was hoping for the whiteboard of knowledge. I understand cant will cause you to miss, but don't understand it. If you're at 0 at 50 yards, will you miss at 50? It is canted. Perfect question. So let's make sure that the light is right so that you can understand this.
The target has got to be tiny.
So this is
at 50.
All right. Let's make sure that the lighting is right here.
I'm going to hold the board for you.
I think we're good. All right. So
he likes putting his leg up.
Captain Morgan.
Captain Morgan. This is your barrel. This is your bullet.
There
as it exits the barrel. All right.
It will
always fall towards the earth unless you angle it. Okay. So now we're going to take the same barrel and we are going to angle it. So now we've got a scope up here at the top and you see in a straight line, right? I mean, you can look at the moon and you've looked in a straight line all the way to infinity and beyond. These two will never converge unless you actually point the barrel towards your line of sight. I'm getting to your cant question here in just a minute. So your line of sight, I'm going to draw this thick so you guys can see it, is straight. Now we're going to take this same arc and we're just going to superimpose it here. And what you're doing is now you're starting on an upward path, which you're going to have we'll just call it a close zero. We're not going to get into BZOs and all this other thing and maximum ordinate and all that. But basically, you cross your line of sight once, it goes above your line of sight, and then it goes back across your line of sight and down. So you're going to have 2 zeros. This is true of everything, okay? Doesn't matter if you're shooting iron sights or anything. You're basically angling that muzzle up to cross your line of sight. Now, what I'm going to do is think of it this way. This is now the scope, okay? We're going to pretend your reticle's in here. And then this right here is going to be your barrel, okay? This is the center line of your barrel.
Oh, YouTube's starting to sweat already.
All right, so.
Oh, no.
I just want to make sure
no.
All right. So now in real world, believe it or not, this is about right because this distance is somewhere around 2.5 inches the way that I've drawn it, 2.25 inches, whatever. But think about it. We're now taking this barrel and we're angling it. Okay, we're angling it up so that it crosses our line of sight. It goes above our line of sight and back down through our line of sight and falls to the earth. Okay, let's make sure we're clear on this. It crosses your line of sight, which we're going to be here on this side of it. Okay, it goes above your line of sight, your maximum ordinate. So it's actually going to go higher in the reticle.
He's a great teacher, isn't he?
Then it's going to go back across. It's going to be back in the center again for your second.
A good teacher.
And for those that can understand this, that have shot ARs, you say, well, I'm running a 50/200 yard zero. This is exactly what's going on. You're dead on at 200 and you're dead on somewhere, or 50 and somewhere around 200. That's what's going on. So now if we take this and we induce cant to it, okay?
Oh, snap.
And by the way,
what you have to understand is you have already started that barrel to make that bullet to go on an upward path and come back down. So now when you cant the rifle, we're going to say we've canted it this way. Let's just say, I don't know, 15 degrees. All right, we're going to try to replicate 15 degrees here. We are not coming straight up anymore, okay? We are telling the rifle here. Remember, we're telling it to go up and then back down, but now we're canting it. Well, guess what? It shoots it up, and gravity starts pulling on the side of the bullet at 9.81 meters per second squared, and boom. And so it will go to the direction of the cant and lower, okay? Because we've told it to start in that upward position. Think about it. We're not shooting straight up and straight down now. Now let's think about this. Shoot straight up, the wind starts pushing the bullet and it comes back down. This is why we have windage that happens. But now when you cant the rifle, you're starting it up, gravity's already pulling on it, forget wind, and then it falls back over into here. So whichever direction you cant the rifle, the bullet will go that direction and low. That should make sense to you. If you guys have any questions, comment.
So when you're like a pro shooter, it's like a pro hitting like a draw.
Correct. So like in golf, the most efficient shot for a right-handed golfer is a draw shot. One that if you're a right-handed golfer, the shot's going to go out and then to the left. You'll get more roll out of it. If you're shooting a fade or what we call a slice or a banana ball.
Oh, here you go.
Don't you start with me.
That's actually when your stroke is coming across and you're imparting a left to right spin on it, and it goes off to the right.
It's horrible.
Yes. But those are player shots. It's no different than using English and pool. Okay. Yep. It's no different.
English.
You're, low center, low right, low left. Let's see if that answers you guys' questions about camp.
There you go.
Does it make sense to you?
It does, absolutely.
Perfect.
Especially the golf analogy. That was awesome. Thank you.
Now, to be very
so
specific,
if you wanted to shoot around a tree,
I aim at it.
At 50 yards, you might or might not be able to see the difference. One of the things we did in the carbine classes they used to teach is we would set a target out at 500 yards, or at 200 yards, have everyone shoot it, and then we had a 45-degree port where they couldn't cheat it. It had to be 45 degrees. We'd have them shoot at the same target. We walk up and look, everything's to the right, and it's a little lower. That's when things start becoming real. When you start adding more distance to it, it's missing that much more and over.
So 6 rudders, hopefully you got your board of knowledge.
Again, the farther out you go, the worse it's going to be.
All right, so Brian Deshane is asking, I figured he'd ask with the CED hat on. You are an electrician by trade.
Yep.
John has his own company. We'll leave that out of it unless he wants to talk about it, but you do electrical company. Yep. Yeah, you're electrical. All right. You're going to lose people here. No, I thought that was pretty simple. I mean, the way that I explained it, Tyler, without getting too difficult.
Commercial, residential, Brian.
Drew Bradley, I'm wondering if the Burris darker glass. Go ahead.
No, I was just answering a question.
He told you to answer.
What type of electrical work do you do? Yeah, then he does. We do everything, anything electrical.
Anything.
We have a service department. We have a commercial, industrial,
solar.
Yeah, you're big into solar now.
Yeah, actually, it's going to take off. It is taking off. I mean, we're busy.
VUDOOS have landed. You got one for me, conservative sniper hunter. I wish, buddy. Let's see. Nice job explaining it.
Charles said, I missed all that. Can you do it again? No.
Rewind. Go back.
Oh, conservative cyber hunter. Where's Skunk Ape? He must be busy putting some antiseptic and band-aids on his grazed foot. So I guess you caught that. This guy jumped in on the freaking video again today that I was talking about. I was like, I'll meet you later. I was like, oh, whatever, man. Yeah, let's shoot. I don't care. Shoot.
We shoot against people all the time.
That's it. We shoot.
Somebody threw a challenge at you, did they?
Yeah, it keeps popping up all the time.
Dang, MDT is out of stock. Yeah, Charles. I ordered one 3 weeks ago.
Yes, the SkyPod.
Yeah, the SkyPod. So we'll see when it shows up. Do you use the whiteboard for your bird and bees talk? No. Thanks for taking me to school. Gordon Hebert, thanks for taking me to school.
Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, just try to impart the knowledge, just so people have a better understanding of how all this stuff works.
I learn something every time I watch you guys. I appreciate it, Gordon.
I never miss them.
I think we know Gordon.
I watch them faithfully. I may not get the live chats, but I'll watch them the next morning or sometime during the day. I know the boss.
Brian
I get to sneak off and pretend to work.
Yeah, you're the boss that's sneaking off to shoot tomorrow.
I'm busy. I'll see you in an hour.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Gotta do a walkthrough.
A bipod for you or the what? Let's see. For me. Nikon Black FX 1000 4-16. Any thoughts? I have one Nikon.
I'm not a big Nikon scope,
but it was set up for.
They're kind of a change.
I used to get a drop for
had to be
the 223. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Nikon went out of the scope business.
That's what I've heard that before.
They did.
SoCal Plinker, what's going on, SoCal Plinker?
What else did they do?
Totally agree with you. I always learn something from better shooters.
I have a huge advantage.
I want to get SoCal Plinker on here.
These two.
If it's who I think he is.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, I think you live in Anza or somewhere like Fallbrook area. That used to be part of my area. I used to cover.
What's your biggest takeaway? Being a newer, I mean, I wouldn't say newer because you've been in it now for about a year. But when you go to these matches with us and you're squatted with us, what's your biggest takeaway? Not so much stage planning as much as what do you see different?
Well,
it's a tough question.
So it is. It is. So originally, I'm just trying to figure out how to use my glass. It's hard to say, what have you learned? I learn something new every time. Every time I shoot, I put myself in tough situations. Like today, these guys had me freehanding. I actually hit 3 of the targets.
Well. Yeah.
That gun, and again, today I learned that gun is heavy, and I'm going to put weights on it.
Yeah.
And all fine and dandy. Can I go to my Ruger real quick?
He was trying to shoot prone.
Oh, man. Man.
Offhand prone.
Showing my age. I'm okay. I'm not going to hit anything.
I was doing the same thing.
It was extremely difficult. I learned something new every time. And if I don't, it's a wasted day. If I don't pick something, focus in. So I'll pick on myself. Remember one of the competitions I think I did at Voodoo, I went down, and instead of having that for my bag to sit on.
Yeah, you were reversing it.
And I did it at the match in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what am I doing? And I turned and I shifted my legs. And again, hadn't I practiced that after he beat me over the head with his rifle a couple of times, he said, look, you got to get that arm up. It's a resting spot. You've got to shoot. Again, the practice thing, it's so important to get out and just shoot. Put yourself in difficult situations, because then the hard situations that you had the last time are now easy compared to what you're focusing on now, like the freehand shooting.
Exactly.
I went back to freehand shooting, and I'm shooting groups again, and I'm like, oh, this is so much easier. It's hard to explain.
Make everything harder.
Challenge yourself every time. That is the key.
Target smaller.
Yep.
Shoot small, hit big.
What'd you tell me when you saw the targets? They like, I was thinking this is going to be so
easy. Yeah, well, same with for example,
small, hit big.
I kind of I got aggravated in Kentucky.
What?
We're at 50 yards. I got a KYL out in front of me. I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to blow through this thing. Of course, I wasn't taking into account. I'm hitting you a shoestring at what? 50 yards with a wind.
With a wind where you can't even hold on it.
And it's gusting. And I was so frustrated with myself. I think I got 3 out of 10 shots on that. And I'm thinking I could not wait to get in there and just show my stuff. I'm going to go ting, 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 ring this thing down. I'm going to end with time. I'm going to walk away strutting like a peacock. I walked away mad, angry. I mean, mad. I was mad
at that stage.
Really? I thought I was going to go and clear.
We did the ace shot. I was holding a half mil left at 50 yards, guys. That's how much it was gusting. True. So now I see this KYL stage coming up, and I'm like, I'm holding a half mil left to shoot a card that a lot of guys did not even shoot in the circle.
Yeah.
And cold bore.
And then now we're going to shoot a KYL plate that has a 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch steel. That's tough. And I did not do so well on it. I did well enough, but I mean, I did about where I thought I would finish, but I knew that was going to be extremely difficult because it was a full value wind.
And again, I'm inexperienced. I thought that was going to be a walk in the park. I'm going to go there, ping, 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 ping. I'm going to stand up and say, that's how it's done.
Yeah. You're going to go,
yeah. Oh, I was perturbed.
All right, you guys. Let me see if I can get this to focus here. I've been watching this really cool channel. Damn it. Come on. Anyways, it's right here. SoCal Plinker. So he's a huge, I think he's newer into the sport and he's having a lot of fun with it. He shows the match layout and then he goes out and does it. Would I say he's somewhere in between not a pro and not a beginner? He's right in the middle somewhere. So you see him learning and practicing and having issues and failing like we show on our channel, you know, as we're running through a stage or whatever. And that's how you learn. But get over and go subscribe to SoCal Plinker. I would greatly appreciate it. He only has 300 subscribers. Help the gentleman out. He's got great videos. And
I'll check it out.
I would like you guys to get over there and check out his channel for sure.
Brian T, I'm not going to avoid this question. He says XTR3 versus the Night Force. I think you know the answer to that question. It's going to be Night Force. They're not on the same price point. You know, one of Burris' sister companies and part of that whole conglomerate with Brett is Steiner. You might want to look at Steiner versus Night Force, but I don't think you can compare Burris to Night Force. It is a completely different market segment price-wise. About the only thing you could compare would be like the SHV, which is more of the hunting model for Night Force. And now we're looking at kind of the same. But Night Force makes a great scope. They really do.
Yeah, he's seen some of his videos.
Josh Thomas is out there.
Nice.
He's got it. He shows what he does. He'll, you know, if he doesn't do great at a stage, he shows it. He shows when he does a good job at it. But he goes out and practices he practices the stage, you know, at his field.
Yeah.
And he gets a chance to try to run through it. And it's fun watching him. Like he'll run it a few times and you can see him, you know, progressing and see better. Like, oh, I don't have enough time to dial here, so I'll hold over. And you know, it's a fun channel to watch. I've been watching them for a little while now. It's pretty cool.
Again, another thing. So we're getting back to all the stuff I've learned. All right, we did a stage again at VOD. VOD was kind of a moment where I learned a lot. Maybe because I was comfortable. I had my bad MF, and I'm not doing a pitch for Ray. That bad MF, I had everything contained. It allowed me to focus. All right. There's so many things come into play. I could ramble on for days on what I've learned. And like I said, I'm continuing and hopefully will continue to learn right up until the day I die.
One of the takeaways that I want everyone to understand that's watching is from you being on our squad last time. you know, you had the guy that finished first, the guy that finished second, Matt finished fourth. You had Rick up there.
Thanks,
the top.
Josh.
Yeah.
Didn't we all shoot the stages differently?
We did. All right. So, for instance, your daughter as well, right?
Yeah.
Mini X.
Are we talking about?
No, we're talking about Kentucky.
Okay.
About Kentucky.
All right. I was talking about VOD. One of the things I learned. All right. So I go up, I shoot. I think I was one of the first on this stage, and it's a swinging platform. Now, to be fair, I cheated. I stopped it with my foot. I didn't know I could.
We're talking about Kentucky.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to get my point. So everybody here, you know, you're on a swing stage. One of the guys said, "Hey, get your foot off the stabilizer." I was okay. And I'm doing, and then I'm sitting there and I'm swinging back and forth, and I have to wait for the platform to stop. These guys are all doing holds. I never thought of it. You know, it was perfect hold, right? It was 50 yards, so it was half mil increments. It would have been easy for me to hold, but again, I'm a new shooter. You know, these guys, again, they're not going to tell me, "Hey, do a hold." They're not going to tell me that because it's not going to help me. After I shot, I saw them. They're not dialing dope. What the heck? So every time I go, it's not just, I don't focus just on me. I focus on watching the big dogs, and I watch what they do. I'm constantly learning. And again, paying attention to Ray, to Rick, to Matt. Matt's another great shooter. I mean, he's got to slow down. No, he is, but he's got to slow. I mean, he started doing speed drills with these guys. I don't know if time was an issue for them, so they started doing speed drills with them.
We didn't want to run out of time, so we started running speed drills.
And he just sticks to it. And he's very.
He's like, "Calm down."
Yeah, slow down. You got 40 seconds left. You got 2 targets. Slow to stop. Why are you finishing with 35 seconds?
He does too every time.
Yes, you know, and that's one of those things that you need to beat into his head and say, "Look, slow down."
Well,
start making him use his time up.
He's not watching because I haven't seen him out there.
No, he's going to watch this tomorrow on the tractor.
Oh,
that's what he does if he's not here right now. Let's see. Tommy Weeks. Yeah, the Voodoo, I did hear that they're on back order for the Ace barrels.
We got ours.
We got ours. We got ours.
Look at that. Someone left you $1.
Yeah,
that's something else.
That's Josh Thomas. What's up, Josh?
Matches are great training. Let's go up to that. I want to touch on
Where's
that for
this
just a second. It said matches are great training. A little higher. Right there. Matches are great training tools for getting comfortable being in uncomfortable positions and conditions. That is absolutely true because we've all heard this. We've all said it, that shooting is a perishable skill. The more you stay in that game, the better you're going to be. If you're looking at it from a different point of view, let's say a self-defense point of view. Okay. Let's say you're going out and you're burning 100 rounds every day and you're practicing and you're getting really good at that pistol. If you don't touch that pistol for 6 months, you're not going to be where you left off. You're just not going to be there. Okay.
No, you diminish.
You absolutely diminish.
Yeah. It's like playing guitar. It's like playing guitar.
That's right.
If I try to jump on that thing right now, we'd lose everybody out here.
So that's funny.
They'd be like, bye.
The point of this is staying sharp with your skills. Whether or not you're going out there and, you know, competing or not, maybe that's not your thing. You don't have to compete, but just to be better or more proficient as a shooter, just going out there and practicing, putting yourself in those awkward positions. We don't pick easy positions. We do stuff that's harder than we think.
But then you go back. Here's the thing. Then you go back to laying it on a mat. It makes it. Now it's again.
Tell me about prone now. Like what's a better thing to be doing than shooting prone right now for you?
Anything.
Exactly.
Anything.
Anybody can shoot prone. Why would I go out and practice that? Why would I?
Most people can shoot prone.
Or
there is some disabilities to prone.
Well, I struggle with my neck. I'll be honest with you. When I'm shooting in a prone position, I broke my neck. I can't get down there and have my head upright, right? Where I'm normally sitting like this on my cheek rest. It makes a big difference. After I'm laying prone for a little while, it kills me.
Yeah.
And my eye is not, because you're looking uphill.
Yeah. That's tough. But like even today, you missed the drill, but we did a 2-shot drill, 5 different rungs. And the lowest one, you actually your scope is obscured by the top rung. You can only see out of the bottom of your reticle.
I got you.
And, Rick ran it first. And he's like, the bottom rung? I was like, yep. Because I know you can see the target from there.
Right.
But you feel like your scope is looking straight into the rail, but you can still see the target.
I got you.
It's good to do stuff like that.
Well, and then again, everything else beyond that is easy. You're going back to the easy. And then, so what was a hard stage for me before is now an easy stage for me. And the confidence builds. And again, you've got to have confidence when you go up there. You can't go up there thinking like the 300 plus for me. I shot it at VOD.
You weren't going to hit it.
I knew I wasn't going to hit a one because I've already thrown hundreds, and I mean hundreds of rounds down at VOD trying to hit an 8-inch target at 300 yards. Never hit it. Never hit it. You can't see it. Spotter can't see it. Forget about it.
Tyler, I'm going to agree with you 100% on your statement right there.
Where's it at?
I've messed with a lot of the Kala scopes, and I will tell you, their glass is milky on the higher end of the power. I don't care how many people use them, how many people love them. It's what I've noticed with Kala scopes.
Anybody else, that says the same thing?
No,
I've never really seen
them.
I've never really seen a crappy scope. I don't think I have, right?
You don't know what you don't know.
That's it. If you, that's true. That's true. See, this is why they review them and I don't. You know what I do? I say, hey, Rick, Ray, what do I need to buy? Here, they like spending my money.
Here's my credit card.
Go ahead. He enjoys it. I promise you that. This one gives me a lot of advice. It's like, look, you need to do this, this, and this. Buy once, cry once.
I sure
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to go through 3 scopes, spend $5,000 when I could have bought a $5,000 scope I'd have been happy with to begin with, and have to still buy the $5,000 and have those into the other scopes.
Conservative Sniper Hunter says in Australia, most of us shoot Vortex and Night Force and PRS. I believe that.
Night Force is a great scope.
Night Force had a huge following at this Kentucky match. Did you see how many guys were running Night Force?
I did actually.
Yeah, it was like Night Force, Night Force, Night Force.
Yep.
Marmaduke. That whole group had Night Force scopes.
Yeah, that one squad.
Yeah, they were
I was like,
weren't they? Were they sponsored?
Those were sponsored shooters out there. And but we shot against them, and they're great group of guys.
And you spanked most of them.
No.
Did, so.
No, we don't want to say that. We just want to say, it was a good showing for us. It was good.
We did good.
I just don't have the option of shooting them now, so.
That's true.
But I made sure before I made that jump. Made sure.
What are you shooting for scope right now?
Burris.
He's shooting for Burris.
Yeah, I'm shooting for Burris now.
I'm going to look through their new one. Sure. Let's see. Swarovski.
I have not checked out the Swarovski binos.
I've got to buy a set of binos as well with the range.
Yeah, I believe Charles Tiffy is right. I think the ATAC 7-35 is actually past the Vortex in PRS competition.
For use, most
for
wins.
how many the pros use.
Yeah. Yeah, the Vortex had it for a few years, and I think Night Force has taken over the last couple of years.
I'm not going to say anything bad about a Vortex. I've ran a lot of the Razor HDs. I like them. They're good scopes.
Yeah, they're heavy.
Heavy didn't really bother me so much.
Well, you're going to put a bunch of damn weight on it anyways. What's the difference?
Yeah.
Hell, if
people complain.
If I could get my
you know how heavy this is?
And then throw weights on
it. A bunch of weight on this thing.
I want to add another.
But it's not the right spot.
I want to add another 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Maybe you can buy a weighted scope cap so it brings the weight out.
You probably sell the crap out of them.
I can't put a scope. It's one more thing for me to forget to do before you notice I'm looking.
I do it all the time.
You notice I look at everything before which is something I didn't do before. Remember that mag at the Kentucky match?
Well, you forgot to put it in?
Okay, now I want to go on record as saying this.
You can't
I had it in my hand,
yeah,
and I was waiting for everybody. I was the first shooter on that stage. I was waiting for, and again, it's an excuse, but I was waiting for everybody to get their shit together. I'm standing there, I'm like, I'm ready. Come on, let's go.
You were ready. Yeah.
I was ready. No, I wasn't ready because I took my mag out, put it in my pocket. 45 seconds later, shooter ready. Yeah, I'm ready. I've been ready. Yeah, no, I wasn't ready because now I laying down and hitting it in my pocket. Should have told me that it was laying in my front pocket.
Robert, I got your email. I will get that information to you here shortly. It was the funniest thing. I didn't put this on the video. They're like, shooter ready? Begin. And he gets down, gets in perfect position on this barrel, and he's like, Oh, damn. And so he's looking for this magazine. And I thought somebody was going to say redo. And I was like, no, he's going to make it work.
That's it.
And so he's like,
no sense in crying over it. Just keep moving.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all
Well,
been there.
two stages later, Rick had a great. You should have probably placed right up 3 somewhere in there. I'm guessing. Had you not messed up your dough, he just didn't set his dough.
Yep.
And I'll tell you why. In his defense, he was spotting for everybody. He was helping out everybody, and he didn't take care of himself. And again, that's why he goes straight off, goes over and does it. That's exactly what I do now because I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it. But when you've got people, who's going to be on glass? Well, he's a nice guy. He runs over, jumps on the glass. He's not prepared for his time. That happened that time, one time.
I will assist, jump on glass, jump on a scoreboard, help reset targets.
If you're prepared.
If I am already ready for the next stage.
And
I've learned that through competition.
I had the guy, the gentleman that won the competition.
Yeah.
The one that was
Brandon.
He asked me, he said, get on a glass. I'm like, no, I'm not prepared yet. And I'm third. I'm not getting on a glass. I got to get my dope together. And I should have done it previous, but I didn't because that other gentleman was talking.
DW asked, what can you do with the Vortex you can't do with primary arms? Primary arms makes a great.
They make a great scope.
Make a great scope, especially the platinum line. I shot one in Utah with the Athena reticle, and it was very nice.
Yeah.
I actually shot it on the what did I shoot it on? I shot it on my Tika.
Somebody said it best earlier. As long as it tracks and it's repeatable, you'll be able to do any match with it. It's when you get these scopes that don't repeat.
But that primary arms platinum is probably 14.
What do you mean by they don't track?
How much is that?
That's a $1,500+ scope.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a cheap scope either.
No, what do you mean by not?
Okay, so there's a tracking. You should do a tracking test. So, like when you dial and you're at 0 and you dial, let's say 5 mils. Okay, you can actually do a tall target test. And I've done one of these on the channel before. And you actually take a tall target and you actually dial up 5 mils. That 5 mils is a known. Okay. And so you got the target level and everything else. And what you do is you shoot, you dial up 5 mils, and it better impact right there at
5 mils.
Now, there is a percentage of error that you're allowed, but you want about 1% error. But if you get something that doesn't track properly, forget it. That's a bad scope.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can do that, and then you can go right or left.
Yeah, because
and then back down.
If you're setting your dope is not true, it's not true at that point. Well, if you're setting it at 5 mils above a target at 0 and 50, right?
But it's not. It's 4.5.
Right.
That's the scope.
That would be hideous.
Right. And then when you go back to 0, it's this much lower.
That's one thing I've noticed. And in the hunting world, I've had people say, you mess with, you tap your scope or you send around through it, it'll reload. Now, these are all myths and stuff. Again,
No, it's not a myth.
Is that not a myth?
No, there are some lower end scopes.
You turn the knob.
Even higher end scopes. That's actually like for the old ACOGs, like the military combat.
I had some guys snickering at me when I was doing it.
You're supposed to tink, 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 because it makes sure that the erector can adjust in case it was hung up. So, it's not a myth.
Okay.
But I'm not saying you need to do it with these. These scopes don't need that.
Now, especially the old like Walmart, Kmart kind of scopes with the regular straight up wire. You had to, like the stuff I used to run.
When we pulled the cap off, there's wire in there. You're like bending it. And
you're like, hold on a minute. No, it's real.
Oh, God.
And it'll snap. It's.
I've shot some pretty
shitty
scopes.
It's a real thing.
I don't want to miss that because I just want to make sure I'm right on this. Can you go back up? He said, people, let's keep going. People with media outlet are usually sponsored shooters. So, Tyler, just to be clear on this, I was sponsored way before I ever had YouTube. I've only started YouTube about 3 years now. And I actually had a lot of sponsors back then, but then I got out of it, didn't want to pursue it anymore. And now I'm back into the competition game again. So, people who aren't brand loyal for no damn reason, it's nice to get real opinions. Yeah, if I wasn't sure, I wouldn't align myself with them. That's
I'm going to say this
thing with me.
I'm going to say this. If I know that Ray's had some offers, he's not going to represent a company that's not worth representing. That's a fact.
Well, I appreciate it. If I don't believe it, I'm not going to do it.
No, I know that to be true.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to believe in the product in order for him to even be sponsored by them. Give me your stuff. I don't want it if it's garbage. Thank you very much.
Correct.
Well, he gets.
That's your name. That's what you're putting out there.
I won't sell garbage for solar panels. I refuse to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not in the fix business. I'm in the take care of it business, right? Same idea.
Picture half the magnification and more LRS shooters like the magnification around 14 to 16.
That's true.
Yeah, Drew wants to post that video. I think that's the one where you're.
I know that's already gone.
Trying to fish the pocket.
What I do is on my my phone. Anytime I get back or get done with the video, he can tell you I don't save any of my videos. What YouTube has, and I was nice enough. There was a viewer that actually burned my first 200-300 videos and sent them to me in a hard drive. Did the same thing with yours. Yeah. Because I don't back any of that up. If YouTube ever shuts me down, those videos are gone.
Gone forever.
Because I film everything on the phone. So I get done, I delete it, and then it's gone.
And it's probably not the best idea in the world, but that's what we're doing. Yeah. You know what? Because we can just tell everybody again if we wanted to.
There you go.
Could even be a better video.
Ryan Berg, do you guys train no dial, all holdover? No, we train both ways.
Both, yeah.
We mix it up like crazy.
I just started practicing holdovers with these gentlemen. They're like, look, you need to start using holds. And again, the swing I was talking about, prime example.
You guys didn't
even occur to me.
Kentucky, there was actually a stage where you could not only dial, you could not touch the scope, including magnification
or parallax.
Nothing. Don't touch the scope.
And the range went from 200 to 300 yards, and you had targets at 250. So you just had to deal with blurry. What I told everybody to do that asked was just set it about 250, leave it alone, and go ahead and take your shots, get all your calculations done, and don't touch it. That's tough to do, especially when you're used to reaching up. They said it was actually going to be a match DQ if you touched your scope once the
I almost did
happened.
it. I almost did it.
Whoa.
I never touched my scope, but
that's the third
in my head,
hold over was required.
Yeah, and in my head, I'm thinking, okay, my hold is X.
And a lot of people like to do this to kind of get support. I know you like doing.
Well, we were prone in that one, though.
Yeah.
I do like to. I'm a push pull guy. Counterweight, it stabilizes. I learned that from
welcome to the show, Baja. Ryan, I practice holdovers quite often and don't dial.
I need to practice my holds a little bit more.
I would try in this game to dial because there is enough time. If you can get in a position quickly,
provided I'm not
just go ahead and dial it unless they say or there's a reason that you don't want to dial.
And you're going to notice that when, say you're the fifth guy and you got a squad of 10 and the first 4 guys timed out.
Yeah.
Unless you could just tell they're falling apart.
Yeah.
There is times to hold, and being in particular that one stage, it was half mil holds, and I wasn't being inexperienced and being the first shooter on that stage. I think I was first or second on that stage. I didn't use my holds, and when I watched the guys, I'm like, and your daughter flew through that. Mini X flew through that. I'm like, because at that point I was keeping up with her, and it went all the crap after that.
You just started to get a lot of experience now. I think you'll pass her very quickly at the next match.
Matt Spruce says sometimes it's more practical to do holdover, to hold over and under on a stage that requires a lot of movement with a lot of targets. Yeah, if you got a lot of targets and a lot of movement, and the time's short, it's definitely a way to save time if you're used to the reticle and know how to hold over.
Yeah,
I do struggle with holds.
Ryan Berg asks hard hold or free recoil. I'm a hard hold guy.
It depends. It depends on what we're doing. We actually answered this last night. So barricadey kind of stuff where you're pressing into it is hard hold, but like on sometimes with the tripod, it's kind of a free recoil thing when you're.
We've never shot off of our tripod on a 22 match.
I've never seen either one of you shoot up.
Yeah, we have. We did it in Yemassee.
I don't even count Yemassee.
I wasn't in Yemassee, was I?
Yemassee had one stage where you could use like a seated position, but unfortunately,
we
I
stood
hate to
up.
say it,
We stood up, and you guys.
UMC was a horrible match. I didn't even consider that a match. That was.
It wasn't the best match.
Oh, was that the dark place?
That's the place that had the freaking
mud
crap out of the coast. Nice match director, but
the older guy.
Yeah, probably the worst match I've ever attended.
Wow, we're getting.
I'm just telling the truth.
Yeah, it was just the conditions. It was wet. It was nasty.
And you had a minefield of targets that were doing this on one bay.
Again, he was just killing
another train wreck.
And he was the first on it. And again, that's tough being first. All right. He was the first one on it. And I'm looking up, I'm waiting for the ting, ting, because every time he goes out, you're ding, ting, 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 and crickets. I'm like, what the hell's going on? They were so close together, the rows, and the distances were so close to each other. They were just different sized targets that, he misinterpreted the field. What field he was shooting at?
How would you
and
not?
It killed the score.
It was a bazillion targets out there.
There was a lot of targets out there, and that confused that.
They did this. They got targets, and they went.
Yes,
guys, there was almost no footage from that match. Just imagine a single bay like this.
Tornado.
Okay, a single bay. And if you littered them with targets like this is exactly what the field looked like. That's about how many targets there were. I'm not kidding. And what they did was, this was a covered bay. They had 5 stages like this. And this one was shooting like in this direction and then over. And then this one was kind of straight line. This one was kind of this way. And what they did was, at the bottom of these small targets, they would have like a little card like this that was green or yellow. You got to remember, we were shooting out to 500 yards.
That all blew away.
All of those things blew away. So it's like, what are we shooting at? There's 500 targets out there. That's all.
And with 22
was horrible.
Oh, yeah. All right. So another thing I noticed is acquiring the targets even before I get on the scope. It's like, all right, what am I shooting at today? Even at your place, no, that's not a triangle. That's a circle. John, you're shooting at the wrong target.
That was today.
If you clutter up a field for me, and I struggle with distance. Without a rangefinder, I'll struggle with distance. And that will come with time, me learning my distances just by looking at it, correct?
Well, yes. What would be the reason you would not dial if time is not of an issue?
Time is always an issue. Usually 90
if you need
1 minute stages.
Yeah, it depends on what's going on. If you have plenty of time, there's no reason not to dial. It's usually when there's
moving platforms, swings.
That'd be a reason not to dial. That's a great reason not to dial.
Exactly. And again,
I have heard it.
I learned that the hard way.
I've never tried to do this, but they call it like the scorpion or something. So when you're on a floating tripod, right? Mm-hmm. And like, say you're laying there, you can like move your feet up. And like to basically reverse the recoil.
Like a swing.
Yeah. So you're like basically going the opposite.
I got you.
To take the energy out of that swing. Maybe you guys have tried that.
Let us know. Slowing down a swing set.
Exactly. You're basically doing it backwards to keep it
I got you.
From really going.
Yeah, but I mean, think about that. I mean, I'm up there thinking, my God, I'm fine. Everybody's gonna crap out on this stage. They go up, Mini X goes up and nails everything.
Oh yeah.
And I was keeping up with her at that point.
Well, she's
proud of myself.
She's good at holdovers.
And she just did holdovers. And she was right at. I'm like, oh.
The holdovers worked out perfect on that stage. If it would have been like if it would have been something different, I probably would have struggled a lot with that one. I would have had to go a lot slower.
But I didn't. Again, being the first one on the stage, I didn't even consider it. Now I would.
Just so you guys know, Charles Tiffy is not wearing a thong. Because I was wondering, I guess. Let's see. Joe M. Size of target is also a consideration when deciding to dial or not. That is a great answer, Joe M. If you have a really large target and you're like, I'm just going to hold because these are big and close or whatever. But yeah, if the targets are tiny, if you want the most accuracy, definitely dial. Matt Spruce.
But that is a great point. If it's a big target, hold.
Can maintain sight picture and drive the rifle by taking pressure off the particular parts. It's not 100% free recoil, which loses your sight picture. Well said.
So I'm going to tell you, I did a lot of holding for sniper style matches or ruck style matches.
Yep.
For PRS, what I've learned is, especially when we went out to Utah, is I saw the majority of the field dialing after every shot. I'd never dialed that much in my life. I was always calculating the holds because it was always a time constraint. It was a whole lot harder. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, plain and simple, shooting blind stage matches is a lot harder than anything PRS. Okay. I'm not saying PRS is not hard, but on the stage, they show you the targets.
I would do horrible.
They tell you where the targets are at.
And give you
They give you the distances to the targets, and you just have to figure out the positions.
That's right.
Now, you take that, and then all of a sudden, you now have the stress of not only finding the targets, which that's the hardest part.
Figuring out the distance.
Now you have to figure out the distance, figure out what your dope is, and then get into position. And if you're shooting with a partner doing the exact same thing, typically you're never going to get all your shots off. Okay, and I think they intend for that to happen. So if it's a 4-minute or a 5-minute stage for you to do all of this stuff, and let's say there's 10 total targets, you're lucky to get 8 of them engaged. So with those kind of considerations, holding is absolutely going to be better. But for PRS, for almost everything,
did you hold most at the Hornady match? Charles Tiffy was asking. Ray, didn't you hold most of the match?
I started off holding and realized that was wrong. That wasn't the way to go. And so I started dialing everything.
No, please don't, Daniel.
With the nice trophies. Is that the one you're talking about?
What's up, Commonwealth Minuteman?
Utah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You went out to Utah. I'd never seen so much dialing in my life till I went to that match. And that's when I actually had the little epiphany of, wait, these guys are actually shooting, dialing for the next position. Then they got in that position, boom, they shot, and then changed, and then went to the next one. I'd never done that before, ever.
There you go.
Yeah, dialing before you get to the next position because the target's going to change distance.
Yeah, because you got to grab the rifle anyways. Might as well.
Correct. Yeah, what we're always doing was solving. There it is. Boom, hold, hold. Go to the next one. Boom, hold. That's what you were trying to do. Different game completely.
And you're very good at that, correct?
I really like that.
Yeah. I would.
That's his game, right?
That is my game. Matter of fact, we went to Way of the Precision Rifle. That's all that was blind stages.
That was a perfect.
That was my cup of tea.
That was a mini, basically dynamics steel challenge.
That's it. That's exactly what it was.
How big were the targets out there for that? I saw the video.
Just like the stuff at my
competition dynamics. It was the exact same kit.
Yeah, same kit.
God.
Yeah.
What was the distances? Max distance you shot at that roughly?
250.
We went out to 250, I think it was.
In that field, that one big field. You had to find the damn things first.
That would be.
Hey, those little targets were just stuck in the grass.
And hold wind.
Oh, God.
I'm going to try to make myself dial wind more this year.
I did that.
So no, that was the thing that I did out west. I'd never dialed wind before. I always held wind, and now elevation is different. But out there shooting with those pro shooters, those guys were telling you to dial your wind beforehand, and that's actually what you did in Kentucky. I did not. I
dialed wind for all of them.
He taught me how to dial wind, and I say taught me how to. I knew I could do it. I wasn't confident with it. All right, so 1.5 mil. We could maximum 1.5 mil to the right.
On that scope.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct. Ooh, I wonder what I get out of that one. But then I still held 0.5 mil to the left. Oops.
Here's a good challenge: auto fire precision shooting. It sounds like a waste of ammo to me.
And he never holds his wind.
Yeah, I don't.
Drew says 250 yards with 22 long rifle. Remember, Drew, we're shooting out to 500, which was what Yemassee was. But for most of the matches, like all the matches at VOD are usually 400. 390.
Yeah, I don't think they've
398 was the one.
Yeah, he has not gone over 4,
No.
and he said the reason is you cannot spot the impacts because you're not going to hear it.
No,
and the magneto speed won't work. It's not reliable.
Rick was trying to send me down range to listen. I couldn't even go down there. And
If you have 30 to 40 constant, then dial your wind. Yeah, absolutely. Submachine guns would win what kind of shooting? The only type of shooting you're going to win with submachine gun is going to be room clearings, things like that.
No. And the one where you got to blow all the star out?
Yeah,
it's got to be perfect.
So I've done a lot of subgun training.
Really?
Minuteman, and I will tell you, it takes a lot of training to do it properly. It's just when you're trying to control a field of fire or getting a room corner and all of a sudden there's a threat, you just want as many rounds on target as possible. But, honestly, you're going to be better off without a machine gun. Machine guns are really hard to control for most people, for almost everybody.
Dial wind, hold straight up on your 10th. Yeah, Charles Tiffy, that's what I did. So I dialed a 1.5 mil, and when I went to the 250, I just started holding farther left on the target. And then when I got to the 3, I was basically at the edge of the target. That stage was pretty darn fun and seemed pretty easy for me. I hold with troop line generally.
Full
auto precision shooting. Is there such a thing?
No.
That's the jumbo shrimp, the oxymoron.
That is an oxymoron.
Full auto precision shooting. There would be, but it would be mechanical. It would be something like a Vulcan or something like aviation where you have computers controlling it. It's just, that's the only full auto precision shooting.
You guys are out of control. The comment sections down below is out of control.
I have shot a full automatic once. Man, it was fun.
I shoot at my house.
Not a full auto.
No, I'm saying you can.
Orienteering type challenges.
What do you want to shoot?
20
Game
miles.
on.
No, given an azimuth. No, Ryan, I have not.
Too badly.
Okay, so none of the ones where they give you an azimuth, they do give you azimuth coordinates in some of these matches that we do before you shoot a stage, but not one of these, here it is, go. And that's a challenge for 20 miles. The burst that we did last year, that was 30 miles, but it was 10 miles a day for 3 days. So nothing like that on my end.
Or was that Vortex Sniper Challenge at?
The Vortex Sniper Challenge.
Was that the one Jeff
Coleman's Creek? Yeah, that's the same as the burst that I did last year. They just renamed it.
Oh, okay.
That's all it was. Same venue, same match.
Oh, he said they had 30-mile-an-hour winds at Coleman Creek last week.
Yep.
Man, a lot of fog.
Utah, too.
A lot of fog.
A lot of fog delays.
Yeah. It's easier to hit a target if it is moving or if you are moving and the target is still.
I think target moving would be easier.
Target moving is easier. When you start
you
moving and then moving, it starts to get a little dicey.
I saw that today doing freehand shooting. I'm like, what in the Hades? Oh,
is Chuck Norris really 81?
You know, he's got a farm in Fairview.
Huh.
Chuck Norris. My son used to love Chuck Norris.
Who doesn't love Chuck Norris?
Yeah, there you go.
He's an American
Norris.
American hero. 81 years old, he still beat the hell out of us.
Yeah, is he really that old?
That's what it says.
Good Lord.
Shoot into the wind. Now what happens? So typically a 12 o'clock wind is what we call it, is when it's coming at you. And then you have a 6 o'clock wind, of course, coming from behind you. And you're like, well, a tailwind is going to make it go faster. It's pretty much a zero wind. It does affect it a little bit, just like rain does affect a little bit, but it's so little, it's not even worth
I actually, that was a question I'd often wondered.
I've shot a lot in the rain. And that question always comes up, and there's been a ton of scientific
just done
stuff on this, and it does matter, but
it's so minuscule.
Yeah,
a couple tenths, maybe.
It's slinging it off so much, and it is putting downforce.
Well, I would think the environmentals, the humidity, all that stuff would come into play more than the actual rain.
Does your car get worse fuel mileage when it's raining on a trip?
I don't know, does it?
Or does it just cut through that rain?
It just cuts right through it.
You got a bullet that's going.
That's like the tailgate.
200,000.
The tailgate down.
Doing this.
The tailgate down thing.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Prime example of that today. My son had a tea bottle in the back of the truck.
Whoa.
I'm driving.
You're not going to talk bad about
this
tea bottles, are you?
No. That thing stayed with me all the way from Burnsville. 45-minute drive to an hour drive.
Was it a Pure Leaf one?
I'm doing 80. Well, for the sake of this, I was doing 70 down the interstate, and that thing is just in that vortex.
Oh, in the back of the truck?
For 50 miles. No. And I'm thinking, surely I'm going to lose this thing.
Yeah, as you see it.
No, I stopped. I was going to get out, and I'm like, hell, this is a show. I'm like, I jumped back in my truck. I left it there, and that thing just floated. And it was floating above it was just spinning. It was incredible. I was like, oh, dang. I should have taken a video of it.
You should have.
So, guys, real quick, there's one thing I want to add to this chat before he ends up shutting it down. But so there are things that are important, and there are things that are not so important. Okay, we've talked about this a few nights ago.
We got some questions.
And there are some people that we're all wired differently, right? Some people want to know every little nuances of why, what, when, where, and this does that and the other. Don't read too much into this whole shooting thing. It is a lot easier than you think it is with the right equipment. Keep it basic. Don't just continually research. Just go out and do. How much research have you done on this?
Very little.
You just hung out with us.
That's
We kind of
it.
share the knowledge that we've got.
Thank you.
Which I always say, keep it simple. I say you can you can shoot a match with your Savage, your Ruger RPR, as long as you got a scope that tracks, got a decent bipod, got a good rear bag, and you've got some decent dope. Decent dope meaning 0 to 50 yards. That's kind of the standard. Get your dope at 100, 200, 300, kind of confirm it, because with a 22, the difference between 216 yards versus 223 yards was 0.4 of a mil.
0.4.
So it matters a lot more. It's like the difference of a 920 yard shot as opposed to 980 yards with a center fire, right?
I struggle at 900 yards with my 6.5.
900 yards can be at Clinton House.
Yes,
it's the hardest target out there.
I was like, what the? I'm shooting the 1,200 yard. What is it, 1,100 yards? No, 1,000.
Yeah, 1,000's easy.
1,000. I'm plugging it. I go back to 900. I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? I couldn't figure it out to save my life. And he's over there snickering at me.
TV says everyone needs to quit buying VUDOOS so I can find one.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know, I was gonna a while back. Ray told me. He said, "Look," he said, "shoot the Ruger when you're ready to move up. Pretty much, you'll let me know."
Yeah.
There were so many things I needed to learn, positions. You know, what leg to put up. But again, we can get into this and go on for hours, what I've learned over. I mean, I've learned how to shoot.
There's a lot to learn.
There really is, you know, how the push-pull, you know, the loading your bipod. Again, made a mistake. I won't make that again.
Yeah, you will.
No? Well, hopefully not. I might. You know, I'm sitting on a cushion. There's so many things. Every time I go out and shoot a match, the next match you'll do better. You'll do a little better the following match. And eventually you'll be up there competing in the top. You know, I just want to be in the top 50%. That's actually my goal of the. But I'm shooting against.
I think you'll have that now.
I'm shooting against some very good competitors.
Is the 27th. Today is what?
The 10th.
2 weeks away.
So you got 2 weeks of practicing.
I'm gonna need bullets, boys. I do have 1,500 rounds. Actually, I now have 1,300 rounds.
What are you going to do tomorrow?
Can you burn a barrel out? I think we're going to find out.
He's barely going to have 200 ready for that match because we had shot the rest.
I told work, I said, nobody call me. My phone will be off. Sayonara. I was planning on building my rifle. my rifle tomorrow. So
yeah, we were supposed to pick them up tomorrow, but we got lucky.
Now it's built. I'm going to go shooting tomorrow. I do have to go in for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I got to go in for a little bit tomorrow too, as well.
So we'll see you at the range.
Do I have to go in tomorrow?
I don't know. Do you want to go in tomorrow?
If there's work to be done, yeah.
So we got caught up on all of our work. And so because of that schedule, we can adjust it accordingly. If we want to take tomorrow off, we just have to work tomorrow evening.
Yeah, but the guys will work 12-hour days to get their work done. They get their work done. That's why.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
and,
that's it.
You know, as long as we get it done, we're
Or
good.
like, hey, do you want to stay another 4 hours and get this done?
And take tomorrow
And
off.
we'll take
shoot.
tomorrow.
Oh, but don't
off.
skip lunch with this guy.
Yeah.
It's like 12:03. He's like, "What do you give me something to eat?" And I'm like, Dude, you
I
just
sounded
like Scooby-Doo right there.
What do you have here? Oh, what is that? I'm like, dude, you're not gonna die. Trust me. It's like, you'll be fine.
I don't eat lunch, and the guys when they work with me, they're like, "We're gonna have lunch. It's 2:00." No, you want to have lunch? Go have lunch.
I think I said that.
Go have lunch.
Like, you can go lunch. Go get lunch.
Yeah, go. I'm gonna stay at work.
Or we can just keep working for about an hour and a half and be done the rest of the day.
Yeah, but you never said that.
Amen.
Yeah, I can eat later. I'll eat when I'm dead. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'm good.
You know, I get hungry too.
Yeah.
I have feelings.
Snacks.
How about blowing up something with tannerite with a 50 cal tracer? Let's get crazy.
I have shot tracer bullets before.
3/4 of an inch 5-shot group rifle is good enough for a beginner.
Actually, I have shot another automatic, full auto.
Yes, that's a 1 MOA.
Yeah, 1 MOA.
Group. 5-shot grouping's plenty good. Yeah, we should come to Oklahoma in August.
Butterfield 911
Tate
10
Streeter is
millimeter.
hosting.
TV said he bought a Kimber 1911 10 millimeter. What is your opinion
I bought my son a Kimber.
That's nice. Kimbers are nice. They're expensive. They're nice though.
Border Patrol.
10 millimeter. Hopefully you have ammo or you reload, TB, because finding stuff like that right now might be tough. Not 100% sure because I don't own a 10 millimeter, but
I do. Actually, I got a Colt.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I will say about Kimbers, Kimber used to make a really, really good gun, and then they made kind of so-so 1911s. And what I've noticed is they don't hold their value that well. You pay a lot for them. You pay a premium for them when you buy them initially. You say, well, that's anything. Well, no, it's not like a car. Really. In my opinion, they seem to lose value faster than other similar firearms. That's what I've noticed. And that's coming from somebody that owns a lot of Kimbers. I like them. I think they shoot well. But if you ever do go to get rid of one and you start looking up what the price is, it's like, geez, that dropped how much?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, exactly.
I should have waited.
They're pricey. Blow the dust off the R² camera and do some blowing up stuff.
It can't be live.
10 millimeter, I found more than 9 millimeter. Oh, no. Well, that's good then. I'm not onto the 22 stuff like these guys enough.
Not enough X matches around this area. Yeah, we would only do the X ones. I wouldn't do the NRL 22, but PRS, I looked on the precision on the PRS rimfire. There's a lot of matches in our area, like
PRS.
Alabama. Yeah, PRS rimfire. Yeah,
very nice.
And it's harder than PRS. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
you'll hold more wind than you've ever held and dial more dope than you've ever done on a match. It is really.
And again, that's almost like the positional shooting. Again, this is, I think, their mindset, or my mindset is, I can't afford to shoot my 6.5 every time I go out. There's no tournaments going on. There's no matches going on, I should say. I'm going to continue to shoot to improve myself, to improve my shooting game.
Yeah. Because we bought these as trainers.
Exactly.
And it's turned out to be more fun than the actual thing we were training for.
You want to answer this one?
Okay. What is free recoil? I'm now hearing this term more often. Is it helpful or appropriate for PRS centerfire and or PRS rimfire? So Outlaw Josie Wells, I hope you got my other email, by the way. What is free recoil? Free recoil is when you're basically letting the rifle recoil without you influencing it or bracing into it or anything else. The only time I've really ever used it was a really awkward position where we're on a tripod or I'm somewhere in a position where I can't really get on that tripod and hold that. But it's basically minimal contact with it, letting the gun free recoil. And really the only thing you're doing is touching the trigger. Free recoil is not something you want to do on a 30-06.
So that would affect the bullet,
and it's going to kick the crap out of you because I'm talking about doing like a 30-06 super lightweight. There are positions, these awkward positions where you get into where it's not possible to brace into it, like the Jacob's ladder stage. They had it so you couldn't brace into it. You could push down on it, but you couldn't brace into it. You'd fall off the front of the platform.
There's one, too, depending on how tall you are. So basically, if you're sitting on the ground from your butt height to your eye level, if the rail, there's like that
There's a spot.
There's that one spot where you can't
do
the knee thing.
Yes.
Yep.
And there's like,
well, your daughter dealt with it.
That's
So you're basically just going.
You're basically just kind of.
She dealt with that today.
Yeah.
Remember, I kicked the bag.
That's right.
I tried to kick her leg so she missed.
Trying to kick her in the shit.
But there's that kind of time when you're basically just kind of trying to hold it up there and nothing's even on your shoulder.
You made the comment in Kentucky. This sucks being short.
Yeah, there was that spot
at the.
That was the second post, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, it was
No, that was the
knee
knee
upper
one.
one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I can't.
You
remember.
were standing on your tippy toes. I just grabbed a bag. I have baby an inch on this guy, so I step on a bag or.
Shaggy says free recoil is recoil. You don't have to pay
that's what I was
for.
laughing at
That's
earlier.
So funny.
Minimal contact. Let the rifle go through its recoil.
Unimpeded.
Yeah. Ryan Bird.
So does it affect the data, the dope? Say for instance, I take my 22 and I just have it floating and I shoot it. Will that affect the data? Where that bullet's going to go without bracing against your shoulder?
Good question.
Are you
I'd imagine
will it change the flight of the bullet? Is that what you're
I don't know if it
asking?
changed the flight of the. I would think it would. I mean, if you're just bing, and think of the recoil, right?
Yeah.
You shoot it, and it's going to have some recoil if you don't have it against your shoulder or braced, right? I would think.
I would assume.
All right,
it's
so when
leaving the
you're
barrel.
when you're sighting in a gun, put a new scope on it, put it in a brace. Everything in theory is from that same position, right? It's holding that in place. That's with the assumption that you're leaning into or holding. You got some background. If that gun is just free recoiling, I'd imagine that would affect the bullet. I would think.
You know, there is a point to this, and without running off on a tangent here. So there's been arguments about running your rifle at Lapua and it being stuck in a fixture where the harmonics are affected, and that you're running 2 bolts into this where you don't have the harmonics flowing through the gun because it's mounted to this concrete block, that it can actually affect the accuracy because the gun wasn't designed to do that, and it needed to actually recoil through its cycle. It's very interesting. A lot of people say the same thing about the foundation stocks being with micarta, that it dampens the harmonics going through there. I know the one guy, Joe, the gunsmith that I talked to recently that does the match bench caress 1022s.
Oh, yeah.
He says, I will not put any of my actions in a chassis. The harmonics ruin the cycle because of the chassis, because there's too much metal going on and we need some kind of dampening characteristics. I can't speak authoritatively about it, but I know people feel very strongly. So your question, does it affect? It probably could, because you're not dampening it by holding it or anything else. You're letting it fire unimpeded. And we've actually done some syringe tests, and it was actually a little different shooting that rifle, trying to get that air thing to go. And it's like, everything's on. I don't know what's going on. It's like, we're not affecting anything. This is a air syringe that fires the trigger. And, we were just checking it, and we ended up having to stop the test because it was all over the place. So,
really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got this device that you hit this plunger.
You're not touching the gun.
You don't touch the gun.
Yeah.
No, and the hose goes to another plunger. So as you push it, it's basically pushing this rod,
and it fires it.
And it shoots.
So we got everything lined up through there, and we started trying to print this thing for groups.
It was
like huge.
It was horrible.
Like, what the crap?
We can shoot.
Now, let me ask you something. Now, who was it that was holding their hand on the barrel at the last competition? Because I remember one of you.
I was like, don't hold the barrel. Yeah.
Who was doing that? Do you remember? It doesn't.
Somebody was doing it.
Somebody was doing it. I remember you saying, I'm thinking, well,
don't touch the barrel.
Because now what I usually do is I'll set my hand on my scope.
Yeah.
See, I don't even like doing that.
Barrel. I have it. Why not?
What about a tuning fork? Think about a tuning fork. That's what's going on. And if you touch a tuning fork, it's gonna die. It's gonna kill it out. So you're affecting that harmonic wave that's going through there. Don't do that. That's why there's covers on there. That's why I have bridges. All of you're in like that one over there. You can buy an optional cover on it. Same with the barrel's so thick. Maybe it might not matter there, but you are affecting the harmonics on that.
Right. Because I remember I was thinking she's going to ask you why, and I didn't. So here I am.
Because you're messing with the harmonics.
No, now I know.
If you put a little tiny brake on there, it's going to change everything. So why wouldn't a big old hand trying to hold a rifle down?
That's fair.
So another test we used to do on a carbine class is we'd have guys that didn't have like, full free float handguards back in the day, when everything had M4 handguards like on an AR. You have them rested on a table at 100 yards. And they're actually not just resting, but actually trying to shoot it with that resting on the table. Typically, your impacts are going to be 2 to 4 inches high at 100 yards. Come off of it, it's dead zero. Because you're actually flexing that barrel. These barrels, as fat as they are and everything else, you can actually flex them to the point of, this is why you don't ever want to attach anything or bear down on the muzzle, especially going through a barricade or something. Your impacts are all over the place.
Good to know.
Yeah. All right.
Learn something new every day. All right, there. This is James' impact.
Matt Sprouse, I've seen zeros change from prone to sitting on a bench. We just talked about this today. Somebody said it's not the recoil, that's parallax. Only speculation. Let's see. Changes impact. If a position is super unstable, I'll back my shoulder off while maintaining drive and control the rifle. Still capable of keeping sight picture, but less input from the shooter to reduce wobble. Interesting.
Matt out there? Oh, Matt Spruce.
Yeah,
Matt Sprouse. We actually talked about this today. Zeros change from prone to sitting on a bench. We were talking about somebody that constantly zeros on a bench and doesn't matter if all of a sudden they're shooting in the prone position. Yes, I have seen some big changes in that. It might not be huge, but enough to shift it left or shift it right just because of their body position, neck position. Always try to zero.
I learned something today. You were telling me, look, so again, you ask, what have you learned? What haven't I learned? I mean, again, every day I learn something new. Today's a prime example.
Yep.
Okay, I could go on forever.
So real quick, his rifle comes in and we're running out of daylight. And I said, "You mind if I shoot?" And I didn't want to be the first one to shoot his rifle.
Who cares?
But we needed to get it on paper and get it zero. So for me, it's typically about 3 shots. That's what it usually takes. I mean, mounting a brand new scope, getting all
that line, it was 3 shots.
So it was like, boom, there's a correction, boom, got the turret done, boom, dead center bullseye. That's usually what it takes for me. But everybody is different. I've shot your rifles before. I know that your eye relief is completely different than mine. Yep. Your body position, all that's a little different. He gets on it. He's like 1, 2, 3, and they're about 2/10 high, 2/10 left. But they're one bug hole.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I said, John, this is why you need to get behind it. We need to re-zero it again. I said, let me try to do something else. And we started messing with his cheek riser and all that. And he gets in position like fire. Boom, bullseye. But I don't want him to shoot based off of what I think or I know is right. Or when he does this, he needs to keep doing what he's been doing because he was able to show me, 3 shots in 1 hole. So we readjusted to zero. This is what a common thing they do with snipers when you're marrying snipers. You can't just say across the board that a rifle zeroed for Rick is going to be the exact same zero for him or me. Okay, it doesn't work that way.
It wasn't. It was proven today.
Yeah. So we have 2 guys. Let's say him and I want to be a sniper spotter team. The thing is, I might have to use that sniper rifle, or he might have to use my sniper rifle, depending on what our role is.
Yep.
The thing is, if we're not married up as a team, being married up as in we can both shoot the rifle and shoot the same bug hole group out of the same location, then there might be a better option that they pair me up with him instead.
Or know it and make the adjustment. I mean, realistically, you don't
want to do that.
Okay.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to have to say, well, I'm using John's rifle now. I'm going to come over 2/10 and down 2/10.
Yeah, I got you.
Everybody sees everything, holds their head a little differently, and it does matter, especially have somebody that favors, right side a little bit more than left side. You're going to see those impacts change, even though you've adjusted.
No, we adjusted my cheek rest 4 times. Yes, I did. And again, if he'd told me that, I'd been like, okay. Yeah. I mean, I was 2/10 high, was I not?
And 2/10 left.
And 2/10 left. Consistently, he gets on it, dead bullseye. Now, what he had me do, and again, what have I learned? Again, every day I'm learning something new. I got my cheek rest and I close my eye and I open it up and I've got all glass. Right before
clear
my
glass.
Cheek clear, just as clear as day. And I'm looking right down range. Now I know the feel of where I want my cheek rest. Right. I put my head down there. I close my eyes. I open my eyes and bam, there it is down range. There's no black. There's no nothing. That's huge, and that's something that's not only
huge.
It's huge.
All right, you guys got anything else?
It's been 2.5
I know.
hours.
I'm like, I'm just sitting here quiet. I'm like,
your wife's gonna be like, "What happened to you?"
No, she gave it. She's I'll see you in the morning.
sounds like a rail gun to me. Yeah, a lot of talk about free recoil tonight.
She made scallops.
But for the let's go.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I would say 98% of your shots are going to be not free recoil.
All right, Drew Bradley. That actually happens a lot in sniper matches where you have to swap weapons platforms because typically you're going to have one in a bolt gun, maybe one in a gas gun, and then they'll switch it up. They actually do that in some of these other ones, and that
They make
you got to be proficient with the other guy's rifle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I have never shot an air gun.
Air gun?
Or every time I've shot, it's been with a bolt gun. Every time. I've never shot an AR at a competition. I've never shot.
Oh, at a competition.
No,
Well,
I mean
shot
I ran over my AR-10. Remember, I was in a hurry to get here. I leaned my gun up against it was in a case and I ran it over. You don't remember me telling you about that?
Oh, helpful on 5.56.
Oh yeah, tell them that story.
What?
You guys,
you know what? You got to hear this story.
So I'm at I'm at the range. I have a
I want to hear him tell.
He's like, "That's fucking loud."
Oh my god! Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh my god!
And go.
Yeah, and go. So I'm thinking, put a suppressor on that damn thing. He goes, "Oh, that's one of the quietest suppressors." I was like, "Okay," and he says, "Well, plug your ears." He pulled it off. I mean,
you suck.
Hey, I was like,
you suck at
score. I said, "You really think this 223 is loud or this 5.56 is loud?" He's like, "Yeah, it's loud."
Yeah, it's loud.
I said,
"Remember, I'm in the 22 world again."
I said, "You mean take it off?" And he goes, "Yeah, take it off." I said, "You're gonna have to plug my ears."
And I'm holding his ears.
I was like, "Just do this."
And I'm laughing my ass
off. I took this thing off, and I'm like, "You ready?" So he's holding my ears. Yeah. He has no ears. And I'm like, "You sure you need to do this?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, but he's like,
oh my god! And we're in a metal back shed, and it just I was like, it rattled my teeth.
And to end this, you don't know
what you don't know.
What you don't know. Guys, have a good
night. Thumbs up, everybody.
See you on the next one. You guys take care.
Oh my god, that was fun.